And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. And thank you for joining me here again live tonight. Y'all could be a few different places in the world. You could be at a hair salon getting a wash and blow like Nancy Pelosi. You could be at a hair salon getting your hair cut like Beetlejuice out there in Chicago. But you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform, give me a 5-star rating or whatever you can over there. I'd appreciate it. And if you don't know, if you're watching on YouTube, this will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, whatever it is. And links for that will be in the box. We got a whole lot going on tonight. We got a whole lot happening. We got to talk about what's happening right now in Portland, or what's been happening in Portland for the past nearly 100 days. I think it's been 96 or 7 to be exact. Ted Wheeler, the mayor, talking about, oh, it's no real problem here. You don't need to call the National Guard. Has now been run from his home, his condo for like, what, $840,000, nearly $1 million condo. Because they keep vandalizing it, torching it. They're almost to the point where they're going to burn the entire condo complex up. With everybody, with all 114 different condo residents inside. We'll talk about that and much more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And again, I thank y'all for joining. You guys are the best audience on the internet. Thank y'all again for being here. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show. We got a whole lot happening. We got to talk about Portland. We got to talk about Nancy Pelosi, a.k.a. let them eat ice cream. All right. We got to talk about her. We got to talk about the CDC's revised, quote unquote, revised or updated or different numbers as it relates to the virus. We got to talk about NBA players not voting. Only 20% registered to vote. And out of that 20%, how many of them actually vote? Good question. Joe Biden today, I saw him out there in the campaign trail and he was lost. It was terrible to see him out there like that. And you know what? He's not even really doing anything too strenuous, but he appears to be totally exhausted, dead tired, beat down from doing what? I'm not really sure. Just from leaving this house? Are you that tired from leaving your house? I guess you would be. You are approaching 78, going on 1,078 years old. You might not have that much gas left in the tank. Now, some guys, when they get to be that age, are still pretty spry, still got some energy, but that's not Joe Biden, obviously. We see what's going on. Back in the day, Joe Biden was a little bit more upbeat. He was more jovial. He had a little bit more pep in his step, but ain't no more pep in that step. Okay, my man is pretty much got both feet in the grave, waiting to get buried. That's what's going on right now. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. All right. So we got a whole lot going on. I appreciate y'all. This is a good super chat right here from Rented Identity, who says the mayor is scared for his life. He's been compromised. The president should ignore the mayor and move in now. Well, I hope that he can do that. That's what he should do, because the rioting and so-called protesting is not going to die down anytime soon. Not in the least bit. That's going to continue on for an extended period of time. Okay. I'll get to more of those in a minute, but first I'm going to just get through what we got going on. Speaking about Portland, that's a good way to go ahead and just get more into it. Portland, Oregon, they've had riots for the past, I'm not really sure how many, like 97 nights they've had riots out there in Portland continuously with no breaks. They're talking about, oh, well, it was getting ready to die down before Trump came in with the federal agents and they got to leave. It's not going to stop anytime soon until you can come in with the federal agents for real. See, what Trump did was just bring the federal agents to the federal buildings. But you got to bring in the federal agents and shut down the whole situation. Let them be all over the place. That's what they should do. But they're not totally allowed to do so. So therefore, it just letting the chaos happen out there in Portland. All right. And then you got the mayors pretty much egging it on, You keep having these press conferences talking about how bad Trump is, orange man bad, all this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, your city is on fire. What are you going to do about it, sir? You got to do something. Don't just let these things go on. Go out there and get something cracking as it relates to what's happening with these riots in your city every single night. Ted Wheeler, mayor of Portland, Oregon. And who's the governor of Oregon? Hold on, let me look it up right quick. I think her name is Kate Brown. I'm going to just double check myself. Yeah, Kate Brown. Kate Brown, what are you doing, ma'am? You're not really doing much yourself either. You guys are two never Trump morons, letting your state and letting your city just descend into despair. It's really a shame. And I feel bad for those who have to live in Portland or in Oregon in general. You got to be dealing with the whole situation. You got to be dealing with what's happening in Portland and the crazy governor. You're just a regular normie going to work every day like all of us. And you got to deal with what they got going on with their political beef and their issues and their craziness. It's really a shame. Same thing in California and also Washington State. That the left coast in general, you're dealing with a bunch of bad leadership, and that leaves just regular people that could be conservative or maybe just not crazy liberal, just out on an alert. So, yeah, I really feel bad for guys that are out there. But speaking about Portland, let's go back to Portland right quick. There have been riots for almost 100 days consistently. What is the mayor doing about it? What is the governor doing about it? Don't try to blame Trump for trying to bring some semblance of peace and, calm. Why is it Portland only that's had riots for the past 100 nights? The mayor, Wheeler, is talking about, Trump's racist. He's been racist from the beginning. Talking about, he bringing up Charlottesville and Stormy Daniels. It's like, what are you talking about? It's only Portland that has this issue. Even Seattle is not dealing with that level of issues, or Los Angeles, San Francisco. It's Portland. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is not dealing with that. Kenosha's not dealing with that. Chicago's not dealing with that. It's Portland. So at a certain point, you got to just stop pointing fingers and look at yourself. Look on the inside. And now the beast that you've created, the Frankenstein that you let loose upon Portland, has come back to attack you. How does it feel, Ted Wheeler? Huh? Now, I'm not saying people should attack Ted Wheeler. Never that. I don't want anybody to attack anybody. That's the whole point. I'm trying to tell Ted Wheeler that you need to get your city under control. Don't let these ravenous miscreants just destroy your city. You might think it's okay for them to be downtown away from you and just causing a destruction there. I'm not really sure why you think it's okay, because downtown residents, downtown business owners, your constituents as well. So I'm not really sure why I think it's a good idea to let that happen. But now they come into your house. What are you going to do? Are you going to flee now? And if I were a resident in his new place of residence, I would not want him to be there. I have a petition that says we don't want Ted Wheeler in our neighborhood. You got to go ahead and move to somewhere else. Move to Nevada or Idaho or something like that. Don't move anywhere else on the Pacific left coast. Go somewhere else. Go closer to a different state. Stay within Oregon, but go elsewhere. Maybe by private airports, you could just fly to wherever you got to go in Oregon rather than living right there in Portland. You are not wanted in the city. I know you're the mayor of Portland, and that's fine, but you can't live there, because wherever you go, the people that you pretty much have given cover to and have allowed to destroy the state, they will follow you. They will follow you. And I got to back up a little bit here. What happened was the protesters, quote unquote protesters, the rioters, rather than just staying downtown, tearing up stuff in Portland, Oregon, they went to the mayor, Ted Wheeler's house, and at his house, his condo unit with 114 other kind of units in it. And they were tearing that up, busting out windows, trying to set it on fire, spray painting. Oh, yeah. So Ted Wheeler and all of his neighbors, all of his hundreds of neighbors are being terrorized because of these BLM and Antifa miscreants. That's what's going on. So now he's leaving that particular neighborhood because of all that's happening. It was a letter he wrote to his neighbors, apologetic. I'm sorry, you're not really involved with my politics. Yeah, I'm glad that he said that it's his fault. Don't try to blame Trump in the letter. All right. You, Ted Wheeler, are the mayor. You are the leader. If things aren't going right, then at a certain point, it's your fault. Trump is not influencing. Trump cannot dictate the law of Portland, Oregon, or Oregon in general. That's a city, that's a state issue. That's not a federal issue. So you got to be able to deal with that on your own. Don't try to blame Trump for it. But hey, it is what it is. Reap what you sow. Same thing with Jenny from the block, a.k.a. Jenny Durkin, a.k.a. the mayor of Free Out of Washington. When the morons and the bums came to her house trying to start stuff, all of a sudden the whole Chaz Chop thing went the way of the dodo bird. She said, all right, let's go ahead and smash it right now. Within 48 hours of the so-called protesters coming to her house, Chaz Chop was gone. It was done. And it took the police about an hour or so to eliminate it after being up for the past 90 days. So the same thing could be done here over in Portland, Oregon. Why not? It's not that many people that are out there, but it's just the fact that they're not being arrested. They're not being prosecuted. They're just allowed to be out there like some kind of sleepover or a picnic or a barbecue or a tailgate. That's not what's going on. What's going on is that you have a destructive force in your city that's behaving as sort of a leech upon your city. They're draining resources and they're destroying property. It's a money pit. And it's also a human waste situation, a health hazard for them being out there. They're not cleanly people. A lot of drug addicts, dope fiends out there, just crazy people, mentally ill people. You know, you got all kind of doo-doo on the ground or whatnot. It's a mess out there on the left coast. Now, speaking of doo-doo on the ground and the mess, San Francisco. Now, shout out to Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi brought back some old school vibes. You guys might be younger than me, older than me. I'm not really sure. But Marion Barry, if you remember him, you know where I'm going with this because of what Nancy Pelosi said. I'll back up a little bit before I get to Marion Barry. I'll talk about Nancy Pelosi and what she said. Now, Nancy Pelosi, as most of you may know, if you saw my video or my social media posts on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, Twitter, Nancy Pelosi decided to go to a hair salon in San Fran to get her hair did. All right, as a cool kid say, get the hair did. She got a wash and a blowout, right? Now, I don't know what that is. I guess you get your hair washed and then you get it blow dry. I guess that's what that is. Now, her assistant allegedly texted one of the stylists from the salon trying to set the appointment up. Now, mind you, Nancy Pelosi is pretty much in D.C. most of the time. She's on Capitol Hill most of the time, Speaker of the House. She's not really in San Fran in her district like that. So I would assume she took a plane from D.C. to California, which is a cross-country trip. You know, I've been to Atlanta. I had a plane from Atlanta to L.A. That was about 4 hours and change. So going up Northern California from D.C. probably about a little bit longer than that, maybe about 5 or 6, but whatever. Anyway, you took this cross-country flight from D.C., probably Reagan, to San Fran to get your hair did at a salon, and you're telling me you didn't know what the rules were before you went? You didn't know that your district is under a lockdown still, that you could not go to a salon at all? She said a salon told her they were allowed to have one person in a salon at once as per the rules of San Fran. How would you not know what the rules are before you go there, Nancy Pelosi? You're the Speaker of the House and your district is in San Francisco. Your brother, or not, pardon me, your nephew is the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up right now, just make sure I'm straight. Nancy Pelosi nephew, Nancy Pelosi's brother-in-law was Gavin. Wait. I'm gonna look it up right now, just make sure I'm straight. What was it? The brother-in-law? I'm gonna make sure that I'm straight. You guys in the chat know better than I do. But regardless of what your family member, whether by blood or what, is Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi. So you should know you're the House rep in that district. The governor is in your family. What are we doing? Right? What's going on? How did you not know what the rules are? Okay, so you should know what's going on. But for some reason, hold on, I got it right here. Now, Nancy Pelosi's brother-in-law was Gavin Newsom's uncle. Okay, so that's her nephew by marriage. That's your nephew. You should know what's going on in California, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. And you go to the salon talking about, oh, I didn't know, and you weren't wearing the mask. So what's going on? You wouldn't get on TV all the time talking about wear a mask, social distancing, abide by all the laws, don't do anything crazy. But then you go to the salon across the country, literally, to get your hair did, and all of a sudden now you're ignorant and you don't want to do some of the laws that are on the books or the rules or the ordinances. Some salons in San Fran opened on September the 1st, but to outdoor clientele only, meaning you couldn't be inside the salon getting any kind of treatment. You had to be outside getting your hair cut. And they still don't allow blow drying because that could spread wet particles. So they don't allow that. Also, the salon that she went to does a lot of coloring. That's what they specialize in. Now, Nancy Pelosi is about, 80 years old. I'm sure she got some coloring. She probably got some coloring at the salon. I'm sure she did. So you got coloring. That's not permitted because you were inside, and you can't be outside getting coloring because you can't use chemicals outside in California, or at least in San Fran. You can't get a blow dry because that's not permitted. You breaking all kind of rules and violations right there. And then you have the audacity to come out on TV and say that I was set up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show this clip right quick, and you're going to see kind of what I'm talking about as far as what her reaction to the clip being leaked was. Oh, and by the way, the owner of the salon leaked the clip because she's furious. She's a single mom, got 2 kids, and she's been shut down for months. She got a PPP or a PPE loan, whatever it was. But I mean, at a certain point, you can't just rely upon a loan to just get you through. You got to be able to get back to work. You can't just say, I'm not going to work anymore. I'll take that loan. That's not how it's going to go. The loan can only just be sort of a bridge to gap you to the next point where you actually make money normal ways. But when you're shut down for months and months and months with no end in sight, what are you going to do? 60% of the shop owners' clientele is gone because they've left. You have a ghost town going on right now in San Fran, also New York City and other places. But different story, I digress. Let's check out this video from Nancy Pelosi where she says that she was set up by the salon and she wants an apology from them. Okay, here it is on the screen. We put it up right here.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of a neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years many times, and that when they said, well, we're able to accommodate people one person at a time, and that we can set up that time, I trusted that. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
So basically, I was set up. You know, yeah, I'm a speaker of the House. Yeah, that's my district. I'm in Congress. I'm a lawmaker. Yes, my nephew is the governor of California, but I didn't know what was going on in my own district, in my own state. I had no idea. I was set up by the salon. So rather than just saying, hey, that's my fault, I made a mistake, I shouldn't do it, I take responsibility, if I got to be some kind of fine or penalty or whatever, nope, it's not my fault. Matter of fact, they got to apologize to me because they set me up. You really got to be bold. But this go back to what I was saying about Marion Barry. Now, if you guys are kind of young or you don't know who Marion Barry is, I'll give you a little a brief recap. Marion Barry was the mayor of D.C. back in the 80s, in the 90s. Well, late 80s, early 90s. He was mayor of D.C. Now, he was loved by many because of what he did as far as like job programs for the black community. He's black. But what happened with Marion Barry was that he got caught in the hotel room in 1990 smoking crack, like on camera smoking crack. And when the FBI raided the hotel room, because he was in there with a lady, by the way, a prostitute. When the FBI rolled into the room, he kept saying over and over again, the beast set me up, the beast set me up. This is the same thing as that. It's like, let's forget about the fact you ain't smoking crack. Let's just totally forget about that, okay? In 1990, during the crack wave, when everybody knew that it was wrong, people were dying and everything else, like, let's not just totally ignore that part. Oh, I was set up. It's like, really? That's what you want to focus on right now? We saw you on camera smoking crack. Like, literally New Jack City type stuff going on. This is the same thing as that. And he was able to get away with that. He used that excuse and it wasn't no problem. After that, he got reelected in D.C. Yes, he did. And it's similar to what Nancy Pelosi is doing. Nancy Pelosi has some of the most ridiculous practices, horrible practices. But if she got reelected, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, people out there are going to vote for, the people that vote for Nancy Pelosi are going to do so regardless of what. She could be 90 years old, getting high, and they would still vote for her because that's just how they are in that particular part of the country. Not everybody, obviously, but the left, that's how they pretty much are. So it is what it is. But that was hilarious to see her use the old Marion Barry, I got set up excuse. Nah, ain't no, if you did something wrong, you got to just own that. Don't just say, don't try to blame somebody else. It's your fault. That's the reality of the whole situation. Oh, yeah, D.C. loved Marion Barry because Marion Barry tried to do things for the community. Marion Barry actually had some tangible things he did, and that's real because I got family in D.C. right now in Southeast. I know how D.C. is. Yes, he did smoke crack, but hey, he did a lot of good things too. All right, that's just what they'll say. But Nancy Pelosi, on the other hand, what has she done? I'll wait. If anybody could tell me any program or any kind of initiative that Nancy Pelosi has done, you know, as being in government for forever, I'll hear it out. But I'm coming like not having anything that comes to my mind right now. All right. Oh yeah, Andrew Gillum. I remember Andrew Gillum. Andrew Gillum is lucky he didn't win. He's lucky he didn't win because what if he were the governor and got caught in the hotel room with them boys in the meth? Oh my goodness, can you imagine what would happen? That'd be a nightmare right there, especially if it was real close race and they got recounted and stuff like that, and he wins, and then he gets busted in a hotel with a bunch of boys and not boys like I'm talking about men, but boys, but different story with some boys, quote unquote, and some drugs. It'd have been ridiculous. It was a scandal even with him not being in office, but if he was to be the governor, that would have been crazy. So thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. We got a whole lot going on right now. Shout out to all 25. Oh, we got 3,000 in building. Good money. Shout out to y'all. What else we got going on here? There's a whole lot of topics going on. I got to get to my whole thing. Oh, so you got 20% of NBA players that can vote. 20%. Now, are you surprised at that 4 out of 5 NBA players can't vote? They didn't register to vote. They ain't signed up to vote. They didn't put in the paperwork. They ain't going out to the DMV and say, hey, can I vote? Can I register? Are you surprised at that? I'm not surprised at all. They have this whole BLM movement, this whole Black Lives Matter thing. You have Black Lives Matter emblazoned on the basketball court. You have Black Lives Matter on your jersey and all types of other things on their jersey, like say her name, vote, all this and that. You got all of that going on, but you can't vote yourself. They want to transform NBA arenas into voting locations so you can socially distance and whatnot. Now, they need to actually go to the booth themselves and register to vote and try again in 2022 or 2024, whenever they want to vote again. And out of that 20%, how many of them actually vote? People sometimes, I get the argument, and they talk about how bad Trump is and whatnot. I'm like, all right, well, who'd you vote for? Well, I don't vote. I don't believe in the system. All right, well, I don't even really care. If you don't vote, then your opinion about politics is not even really important because you're not even trying. You're not even involved with the process. Don't complain to me about the process if you're not involved with the process. I mean, that's pretty much how I feel, especially on a local level. There was a bill that passed legislature, if I'm not mistaken, in California. Matter of fact, I'm going to look it up right quick. Now, this bill was really disturbing. That's the best way to put it. Hold on. What's the guy's name? You guys know what I'm talking about, too. And the guy's name is crazy. Scott Wiener passed the bill. Now, hold on. I'm going to find that bill because that was really crazy. But you have some guys that are in government, local government, national, whatever, that are proposing things that are very dangerous that shouldn't be out there. Now, one thing they already did in California was if you have HIV and give it to somebody else, whether you know it or not, that's no longer a felony. So they're talking about, oh, well, you know, that was discriminatory against LGBT. Excuse me? I mean, you don't have to be gay to have HIV. It doesn't matter if you're gay or not. If you give HIV to somebody on purpose, that should be a felony. That should be attempted murder right there. I mean, come on, let's just use our brain for a little bit. But now that's no longer a felony in California. It's just like whatever. And you know, the spirit behind that law is saying that HIV is very prevalent among gay men. So they're going to pass it and it shouldn't even really be a big deal. What? Excuse me? That's ridiculous. Everybody knows what HIV is. It's dangerous, can kill you. And if you pass it to somebody intentionally, that should be considered some type of crime, like a serious go to jail and don't come home for a long time crime. Okay. Now, here's one thing. Senate Bill 145. Let me see. Now, a headline says, San Francisco Senator Scott Wiener introduces bill to decriminalize men having sex with boys. That's the gist of it, but it's a little bit more deep than that. They're basically trying to lower the age of consent because they're saying that it's common for young or younger boys to have adult relations with adult men. What is that called? You tell me. What is that? So if you got a preacher or, you know, a priest or something like that with a boy in church, what is that? That's the Eddie Long stuff right there. And you got guys that are in government right now that have been able to pass certain things. All right. Now, you shouldn't want that to be anywhere near you, but that's what's going on right now in California. That's how liberalism goes all the way far to the left. And you know what? I've said that before right here live on the show. They're talking about drag queen story time and things like that, trying to push that in front of your children. That's not a thing that you want to have. You want to be able to teach your children about certain things when they're prepared for it, not just have it thrown out there by local government or anyone else. Yes, California, and the bill is, I'll give you the bill right quick. Let me see. Senate Bill 145. And if I could find a link to it right quick, I'll put it in the box. But you guys know what I'm talking about in the chat. You guys smarter than I am. Yeah, here it is. Let me see. And I'll put it right here in the chat. It has some legalese in it, but like I said, you guys are smart. You'll be able to kind of figure it out. And see, yeah, SB 145. And the link to it will be right here in the box. You can see it for yourself. And this is a big reason why liberalism just does not work. It doesn't work for me because it goes way too far, way too far. Yeah, people leaving California, New York for different reasons, obviously, but California, it's for some New York reasons, but more reasons. The money thing with the crazy taxes and lack of jobs because of the shutdown and other things going on, high cost of living, that's one thing. Then you also have social problems like a guy like Scott Wiener. Okay, that's the issue. Somebody asked me, what do I use to record my videos? I use OBS. That's my go-to program. I record everything that I do. As far as anything pre-recorded, I use OBS. I'm using OBS right now to do this live show. It's just easy, you know, it's quick, straight to the point. It just makes sense. You know, I'm able to get stuff done really quickly like that. So yeah, that's what's happening in California. If you're out there in California, I feel for you. I really do, because it's crazy. It's getting really hectic out there in that particular part of the country. Now, shout out to the CDC. Did you see the new report from the CDC? They said that the virus numbers that we know of, it's a little bit of a caveat there. They said, 170,000 that have died from the virus, between like 170,000 and 180,000 that have died from the virus in the U.S., right? But of those 170,000, only 6% had the virus and nothing else. Now, I'm going to give you all of the information so nobody can say that I'm being biased. I'm going to just give you what the CDC said, and you'll be able to figure it out from there. I'm going to put it to you in a way to where I don't neglect things one way or the other. Because sometimes what you get, people will neglect some things to make their point on my side better, which is not needed. You can make the point with giving you all the information, but on the left, they'll take out some information to make their side appear better. But I'll give you all of what's going on. Now, only 6% of those that died from the virus only died from the virus, according to what we know as far as the cause of death being listed. Just the virus, and that's it, 6%. 94% had the virus and other things. Now, the media will say, well, yeah, they had other things, but that could have been things that were caused by the virus. And that's true, like pneumonia or other, lung problems. That's true, of course, like the flu, right? Because you might not die from the flu. If you get the flu and die, you might have the flu and then catch pneumonia and then die from that, all right? That's kind of how it is. Same thing with other viruses. The virus will impact your body in a way to where other illnesses will come in and get you. That's really what it is. But what they're not saying is that people already had diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, same thing. But anyway, diabetes, high blood pressure, what else? Your problems with your kidneys, your liver, other just problems. Obesity in general, those things aggravate the virus. Old age, of course. Anytime any virus comes along, people that are elderly, and nursing homes especially, they get hit the worst. They are absolutely hammered because they have a compromised immune system already, and they can't really leave anywhere. They're in kind of close quarters, so the virus really does a number on them. That's what's going on here. People that were elderly, that already had underlying health conditions, those are the ones that got hit with the virus and had a very hard time with it. All right, that's what's going on. And the virus causes things that you could get if you had the flu. This whole thing, in my humble opinion now, is the equivalent to a bad flu season. What's the point of shutting down the whole world for a few thousand people? It's like 10,000 that only had the virus and that's it. I feel like if you have any kind of, serious health issue or you're elderly or something like that, maybe you can stay home in quarantine if you want to. All right. Or understand that you're going to be in a bad risk area. If you want to risk it, then go ahead. But if not, then don't. But shutting down the whole country, the face mask requirement, not being able to get your hair cut. Or if you Pelosi, you can. If you're Nancy Pelosi, you can get your hair cut at a salon, and that's fine. But nobody else can. If you're Lori Lightfoot from Chicago, the mayor of Chicago, you're able to get your hair done talking about, oh, well, I'm on TV and I got to be the face of the city. Oh, okay, I got it. So you're important. You are more important than I am. We're all equal, but some more equal than others, but that's a different story. Nancy Pelosi, Lori Lightfoot, Andrew Cuomo outside walking his dog, no mask on. That's fine. Some are more equal than others. Shout out to George Orwell and Animal Farm in 1984. This man was a prophet, but anyway, that's what's going on with that. It is what it is. But we got a whole lot going on. Oh, I got to talk about Joe Biden. Joe Biden should not be out there running. He should not be running at all because he is not there. He's 77 years old, like I said from the beginning, going on 1,077. He does not know where he is, who he is, or what's going on. Did you guys see him leave the basement? He's out of the basement, but at the same time, it's like he's not. It's like, yes, you're not at your house, but at the same time, you're not really doing much you couldn't do from home, in my humble opinion. All right, he answered questions one time since he left, since he's been gone from the basement. When he did a speech, what was it, yesterday or the day before that? There was no press asking questions. He gave about 5 minutes of comments and then left. And then today he gave some comments, but the comments were just kind of like not making a whole lot of sense, real low energy, super low energy. And it's like, all right, sir, if you're going to be doing this, then we need to talk about some real things. We have to discuss the fact that you're not well. This guy's not there. Yeah, Sleepy Joe, that's correct. He is not there. And it's important to understand that, because if you're going to vote for this guy, don't you want somebody that has, a little bit of awareness about what's happening around them, that is not halfway dead or all the way dead, 1 foot in the grave, if not both feet tucked into the grave? He's too old. And shout out to Trump for saying that today. I forget where he was, but he said it today. He spoke to a guy in the crowd, was like 97 years old, and was giving them his propers for, being that age, but still being aware and understanding what's going on. And then he was saying, hey, I know a guy that's 78 that is not very sharp, speaking about Joe Biden. Everybody sees it. Trump did an interview with Laura Ingraham and kind of said it. I like the way Trump is handling this. He's not saying that Trump is crazy or, out of his mind. He's just like, he's saying what we are all saying and or thinking. It's like something's wrong there. I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose Joe Biden, but I know something's wrong. He's just not there. And this is going to be an issue that comes up during the debates. Chris Wallace of Fox News is going to be a moderator at the debate. Joe Biden said he wants to have a fact checker. So is it going to be Chris Wallace? Is he going to be trying to, because when I hear fact checker, I'm thinking you're going to have like a second player, if that makes any sense. It's going to be a 2-on-1. Rather than just having a debate, Biden versus Trump, it'd be Biden and his assistant versus Trump. It's like, it's not a fair fight, man. If you want to fight, let's do it 1-on-1. Don't have your homie jump in and try to jump me. Yeah, don't try to jump me. But what would be crazy is if you had a fact checker that's clearly going to be on Joe Biden's side, and Joe Biden together try to debate Trump and they both get stomped into the mud. That'd be hilarious. But it's not fair. Have a fair fight. If you want to debate me and you want to try to fact check me, don't have a fact checker. You be the fact checker. If we're debating and I say anything that's wrong, you fact check me in real time and tell me why it's wrong. That's what I'll do right here live on the channel. If there's a debate that comes up and somebody says something that's wrong or I disagree with, I'm going to go ahead and challenge them right there and give them the real information. I don't have to rely on a third party to come in and try and fight my battles for me. But again, Joe Biden, he's just not really there. So he has no other alternative but to get people to fight his battles for him. How else is he going to be able to succeed? He can't. It's just not really what's going on. But yeah, I feel bad for Joe Biden too. In Bear, he should rest. Yes, he should. His wife needs to be ashamed of herself. The Democratic Party know that this man is not well. And they had some young people that they could have put up there, giving them some free advice. You had Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang. You could have put them out there as a new, diverse, vibrant face. You got all of that right there, but you're not doing it. Now, of course, I don't want them to win on the left. That's obvious. If you're going to pick anybody, Joe Biden is great. He can raise money. He raised like $300 million, like 362? If I'm not mistaken, close to $400 million in August. Just 1 month, he raised that much money. Now, is that because of Joe Biden being this great candidate that is just so magnetic and personable and he's going to win, he's going to succeed? Or is that some of that BLM money? Because how much money did BLM get over the past few weeks and months through their Act Blue payment processor? And I said this before. I said it on my video today. The Act Blue processor is what the Democrats use for their monies to get their donations and their contributions and whatnot. They get it through Act Blue on their website. Now, since the payment processor, they take a piece of the money. I'm not sure how much it takes, but they take a nice little piece of the money. And Act Blue itself is a charity, and they give to campaigns of Democratic politicians and other people. Now, how much cash did Act Blue give Black Lives Matter other than what they got through direct donations to Black Lives Matter through Act Blue? And same thing with Joe Biden and everybody else. How much did they give? That's crazy. Like, okay, you getting money from Act Blue from direct donations, but then you get broken off from Act Blue itself, from donation money fees. It's kind of weird, but anyway, I wonder how much they gave to Joe Biden's campaign and also to Black Lives Matter, and how much Black Lives Matter contribute to the money that Joe Biden got. But George Floyd's family, where's he get? Does he get any money? You got black officers being shot and killed. Do they get any of that Black Lives Matter money? Who's getting the money? The funniest part about all of this is that you have a mostly white organization in Black Lives Matter versus mostly white organization in Antifa given to Act Blue, who then donate to the white man, Joe Biden. That's hilarious. All because Black Lives Matter. Where the black folks at? I mean, the whole Black Lives Matter thing is like a meme at this particular point in time. It's being used to fundraise, not for the advantage of black folks, for the advantage of anybody that's out there trying to get their hands on the money. Joe Biden and everybody else, the Democratic Party and everybody else. Act Blue itself and nobody else. The BLM squad, the founders and their staff, and nobody else. That's how it goes. So yeah, shout out to Joe Biden and Black Lives Matter, the ultimate fundraising, Ponzi scheme, scamming squad. It is what it is. All right. Let me see. And thank y'all again for joining. You guys are the best audience on the internets. Back to the whole CDC thing. So this, like I said before, the CDC put out a stat that says only 6% of those that died from the virus had the virus, and that was it. That's what they said, right? Now, 94% had other comorbidities. I feel like if there was a flu season that actually happened, which it didn't really happen this time because of the virus for some reason, you know, they said, oh, you got 200,000 deaths from the virus. Who died from the flu, though? Next to nobody. But anyway, you had 80,000 flu deaths in 2018, but not really any this time. All right. Anyway, I feel like those that died with other illnesses would have also died from the flu or something else. If you 800 pounds in your bed right now, you need to kind of like tighten that up. You have, you're at risk right now, health-wise. That's just facts. So if you go outside to the store or to the park or something like that, and you rolling in the grass and, you know, you got health problems and you let people touch you and you get the virus, well, you have to understand that's going to cause you some problems and you might not make it. That's life. The flu, it's like that. It's the same way. So like I said, bad flu season, not enough to shut down the entire country. And I hope, for goodness sakes, we get back to normal real soon, because we cannot take too much more of this. Like I've said, San Francisco boarded up, New York boarded up. What are you going to do? Ain't no tourism coming in. People that live there locally aren't spending money. People are working remotely. Ain't no commutation. Ain't no office buildings being staffed. So you got this big property right there in Central Park or close to it in Manhattan. You paying a ridiculous amount, $10,000, $15,000 in rent every month with no clientele, no business, no hope for business. A lot of your clientele done left. The employees and got the virus and they left or whatever. What are you going to do? It's crazy. But hey, I have a request for you guys. All right, so check it out. I'm excited about this. I want you guys to download the official Trump 2020 app. It's free, straight from this link I'll put right here in the box, straight from the Trump campaign. This is the official Trump campaign ad, and it's free. Put your number in there and verify it just for everything to be legitimate and everything to be right, but it is free. And the link is in the box, and I'll put this right here in the chat box as well. Again, straight from the Donald Trump campaign. And this is to get news and updates about what's happening with the campaign. You know, I noticed when I was on social media today on my Facebook that they were, a lot of my posts on my Facebook fan page are being limited. Instagram is the same way. I had an issue with Instagram, matter of fact, recently. I've been getting flagged on Instagram, and I feel like Trump does as well. There'll be certain things on Twitter, especially, that he'll post and that Twitter will put some kind of notification and try to make it be something different. Matter of fact, they put something on my post about Nancy Pelosi. I just saw that right now on Instagram. If you can see at the very bottom, it says, for information about COVID-19, visit cdc.gov. Now, the funny part is that I just mentioned CDC.gov speaking about only 6%. Now, will they delete that one? Okay, so they're telling me to go to CDC.gov. What if I find that study that says only 6% of those that died from the virus only and not anything else? No other comorbidities like being 1,000 pounds or being a chain smoker. I'm getting triggered, so I digress. My whole point is that they will delete some of your posts. Matter of fact, we found something else to delete it. Oh, I was trying to go live on Instagram and I got this. Okay, try again later. We restrict certain activity to protect our community based on your use. This action will be unavailable for you until 9/26/2020. And if you made a mistake, tell us. Now I clicked a little tell us button and it didn't do anything. When I clicked tell us, it just, this little box went away. So I'm like, all right, what am I doing? And I have no idea why I can't go live on Instagram. No clue at all. All I can say is that I had some posts deleted. I posted the interview with Cal Rittenhouse before he shot them people, saying what he was doing, how he's trying to be a medic and whatnot. It deleted that. I posted something about something. I forgot. I had like 4 posts deleted within rapid succession, and I don't really know why. Nothing was profane or violent or anything like that, but they got deleted, and now I can't stream. So my whole point is, if you guys rock with that Trump app and get some of that up-to-date news straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, you can avoid all that social media stuff. And also, my website, I keep everything on the website. So if for some reason the video was not available here on YouTube or on my Facebook or on my Twitter or my Instagram, my website, that's going to be my safe haven. People say, hey, ABL, go to this particular platform, go to that particular platform. How about this? I stay on the main platforms where I got to be: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., YouTube, of course. But regardless of what's going on, I'm going to keep that website and keep pumping that because you can't stop me on that one. Same thing with Trump. If he has his app coming straight from his website, I mean, what are you really going to do with that? So yeah, click that link that's in the box for the Trump app, also right there in the chat box, and it's absolutely free. Put your number in it, verify, do that for me, and you get what you got to get, that news straight from the proverbial horse's mouth. All right. Super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the calls a little bit later. Can I run for office? I may have to because you guys keep asking me about that. Running for office, I may have to. So that I think will be in the future. Now, how far in the future, I don't really know, but that could be in the future. All right. So let's get to some super chats here. And thank y'all again for being here. Give me a thumbs up on the like the video. Do all that good stuff for me. I appreciate that 1,000%. Okay. Zachary Titchen says Pelosi is on the right, not the left. Most Democrats are. Nah, Pelosi's on the left. You know, most Democrats are Democrats. What you're seeing right now with Pelosi, how she's behaving, and also many others, that's pretty much how they are on the left. This is typical liberal Democrat stuff, not anything new. This whole thing about, oh, she set me up, that's old school. I heard that 30 years ago with Marion Barry when he was in the hotel smoking crack. Oh, she set me up. It's the same. They've not changed. They had the same talking points, the same actions, the same excuses. It's the same. They are who we thought they were, as the infamous, legendary Denny Green said back in the day when he was on, what was that, the Vikings? When he was on with the Vikings or in the Bears, or they were playing the Bears. Thank you to Rented Identity, who says the mayor is scared for his life. He's been compromised. The president should ignore the mayor and move in now. Thank you for that. Thank you to Jeebs, who says, hey there, Addicted Channel. Have you seen the Senate bill that passed in California yesterday? Do you think there's a potential for that bill to be a stepping stone for worse situations? That's what I was talking about earlier about that. What was it? That Senate bill 145 in California, talking about decriminalizing underage boys and adult men, or underage girls and adults. Like they're trying to lower the age of consent, essentially. So yeah, I did see that, and that'll be a problem in itself right now, but it will most certainly lead to other problems. Like that'll be a problem in itself, but it will lead to more problems as well. So you're correct. Thank you to Retro Gamer 81, who says Ted Wheeler found a Craigslist ad in Delaware for a spare room in the basement. All the pudding you can eat. Must be okay with an occasional sniff. Talk about Joe Biden. He could be Joe Biden's roommate. How about that? Thank you to interracial patriots who say, ABL, they are saying that Pelosi's Salon visit was a campaign gift to Trump. We love it. Hey, that's what it was. 1,000. I mean, they're giving us all types of things. Joe Biden is giving us gifts. The Democratic Party are giving us gifts. Nancy Pelosi, she's giving us a gift. You go into the salon, you got no mask on, the salon was closed, nobody should have been in there. Oh, I didn't know they set me up. Come on, man, stop it. You know, tell me a good lie that I can believe. Don't give me no crazy lie. You're the Speaker of the House, you're the House rep in that district, and your nephew's the governor of California. I don't want to hear no excuses. And what they say, it doesn't matter if you're ignorant, that's no excuse for the law. So let me get to the next one. Thank you to Marie Stark, who says, keep it up with the workout emoji. Thank you for that. Thank you to Jay Greer, who says, congratulations to you and your wife, ABL, on your marriage. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'd like to contribute a few dollars to your wedding celebration in 2021. Yeah, because the wedding is in 2021. That's next year. We just got legally married a few days ago. So thank you. Wishing you both many years of wedded bliss. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you to Abraham, who says, Hairgate has Pelosi now saying the economy needs to open. Hilarious. Matter of fact, I saw a story today from LA County where they just happened to open up some salons more than what they were. I wonder why that broke right after the Hairgate kerfuffle broke. I wonder why. Is it a coincidence or nah? I can't tell, but I digress. Shout out to YouTube user 55533 who says, so proud of our Governor DeSantis speaking the truth about lockdowns. Yeah, shout out to DeSantis. Shout out to everybody that's not locked down or has limited lockdowns. Shout out to y'all. You guys are the best. Shout out to Retro Gamer 81 who says, think I can get away with saying I was set up at a strip club. I don't know about that one, man. If you're at the strip club, maybe you could be in there eating chicken wings like, who was that? Lou Williams got caught because Lou Williams, basketball player, he's supposed to be in a quote unquote bubble so they don't catch the virus and keeping everything sanitary. But he went to the strip club in the bubble. And then they said, hey, man, why'd you go to the strip club? I was trying to get some wings, man. I wasn't trying to go in there and see no strippers. It's like, hey, if you can use that and get away with it, then go ahead. But that might not be the best way to go about it with everybody. You know, you tell your wife that, it might not go over too well. But anyway, shout out to Scott Stevens who says, keep up the great work, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Stacy Felice who says, bet something will happen to Biden right before the first debate. Probably so. Some kind of issue he can't leave, or he's going to get, the virus is flaring up again in the state we're going to go to or something. Yeah, that might be an issue. Thank you to Brett Sessoms who says, thoughts on the two sheriff's departments that refuse to go to Portland. I really don't blame them. I don't blame them either. I do not blame them. Why would you want to go to Portland when there's no support for the police out there? When you're pretty much just going to be out on your own. If something happens, something goes the wrong way, they throw you up under the bus and your life is over. It's not worth it. You're getting paid $55,000. What's the point of throwing your whole life away when you're doing your job right? Because the mayor does not have your back, nor does the governor or anybody else in the city. The city council don't have your back. What's the point? And there's no backup that you need. You need the backup. You need the federal agents out there. You don't have that. So what's the point of going if you're just local police? Thank you to Matthew Phillips who says, did you watch California's Senate Bill 145 get passed? Some of them gave speeches such as a parent myself, blah, 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 and still voted yes. Wow. Crazy. Matthew also says, several of those who voted yes on Senate Bill 145 were concerned with equity of punishment between heterosexual and homosexual quote-unquote relationships. Honestly, WTF. Because what they don't want to say is that a lot of homosexual relationships are underage. They're pedophiles. That's what they don't want to say. I'm not saying, don't shoot me. I'm just saying that's what they're thinking. That's why they're trying to pass this. That's why the guy, Scott Wiener, that's what he said in the actual explanation of the bill. He was like, well, there are too many, underage boys being harshly punished and because of their adult lovers. Milo said the same thing. That's why I kind of got turned off from him. Because he was saying that, talking about, it's not really a big deal to be 13 with a grown man. It's like, excuse me? So, yeah, that's what they're saying. But I'll move on. I digress. Thank you to Mr. Pib20 who says, "Hi, sir. Thank you for all your great talking points. You always bring the real issues facing our country. Keep up the great work. Trump 2020 from Joliet, Illinois." Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to C. Denise who says, "Congrats to Miss ABL." I thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. And shout out to all y'all for being here right now. Hit that like button if you've not done that yet. I'd appreciate it. Also, share the video. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe right now. That'll just be fantastic. All right, more super chats here. I'm going to get to those in just 1 second. Shout out to, let me see. Okay, where am I at? Well, I missed a few here, I guess. No, okay, I'm good. Thank you to my man, Jericho Green. Shout out to Jericho Green. Hey, you guys subscribe to Jericho Green right now. Jericho, you got like, how many? Like 250,000 subscribers? Hold on. Let's see how many you got right now. His channel's blowing up right now. So shout out to Jericho Green. He has, 250,000, 254. So subscribe to Jericho right now. Let's give him to 500,000. He says a setup. We're the ones being set up. Exactly. We're the ones being set up. The regular, everyday normie, we're being set up. Thank you for that, Jericho. I appreciate you. Thank you to Special Inspector who says she knew damn well, AB, I live in Los Angeles. It's Salon's barber's been on lockdown for months. She's nuts. Love what you do, AB. Much love. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. She knows. It's like she's an actual lawmaker, a lawmaker in office. Her nephew is the governor. How do you not know what's going on? Matter of fact, if you don't know what's happening, that points to your incompetence as a lawmaker in that district. You should be out of the government, period. If you don't know what's happening in your own state, if you're so ignorant that you violate the rules yourself as a lawmaker, you got to go. Shout out to Theo Francis who says, when people who quote unquote know you well set you up, that says more about you than it does about them. Big facts. Thank you to Miriam Vidal who says, Nancy Pelosi is a Marie Antoinette of Marion Barry's. Hilarious. Let them eat ice cream. And they set me up because I went to the hair salon to get a wash and the blowout. You know, she could have been in there smoking crack in the salon talking about they set me up. Oh, you know, they said I can do that. Nah, you know what the rules are. You got to follow them. Don't try to claim ignorance. Shout out to Hudson Jackson II who says, a belated congratulations on your marriage. Don't celebrate by playing Madden 21. It's not the worst rated game in history. I heard about that. But, you know, I've been stopped playing Madden and stuff like that because those games, they never really improve. Like, there's no, like, you got to do kind of like big shift and make something better and something that'll grab me. And my time is limited, so I don't even have no time to be dealing with something crazy like that. Bad games. If it's a good game, I'm with it. If not, then I can't do nothing with it. But thank you for your congratulations and your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Double O Tyrone for the pound emoji. Thank you to Abraham who says, let me see, Senate Bill 145 in California will lower punishments for pedophiles. Exactly. That's the purpose. Thank you to You're So Cool 23 who says, did you see the lady in Australia, who got arrested for a Facebook post spoke against the virus and for human rights? Yes, I saw that. Now, in Australia, there was a lady that was organizing a peaceful protest, for the virus and human rights and stuff like that. Peaceful. And it was expressly said, let's be peaceful and not cause any kind of problems. For the Facebook post, she got arrested. They came to her house and arrested her. Okay, you're talking about big government coming to your crib, locking you up for a peaceful protest announced on Facebook, not even having the protest, just for even announcing it, you're getting locked up. Okay, now I got in here? I got some type of, I got a lightning bug in my house. I think my wife just came in from outside and let a lightning bug in. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be dead today. Hold on. It's going to be dead in a minute. I got my flip-flop prepared. Shout out to, let me see, Mark Peterson, who says, thanks for all your great shows. Take care and be safe. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Shout out to Ronald Irving for your donation. Thank you to Matthew, who says, CCP copies U.S. tech. Canada copies American leftism. Antifa, check. BLM, check. More government, check. Masks, check. Pelosi haircuts check. Climate alarmism check. Senate Bill 145. Guess what we'll report? Guess what we'll import next? Exactly. Thank you for that. Shout out to War Damn ATL who says, did you see that Tyler Eifert, tight end from the Jaguars, will be honoring Officer David Dorn on his NFL helmet? Yeah. Shout out to Tyler Eifert. I appreciate that. And it's unfortunate that the NFL is going to be honoring like Black Lives Matter. Like they're going to put end racism and stuff like that in the end zone. I think they're going to put, what are they going to put in the end zone? Hold on. NFL end racism, and then what else? It takes all of us and end racism. Let it be in the end zone. Now, my question is, how big is it going to be? Is it going to be as big as these Black Lives Matter signs you see on the road that you can see from above, like the stadium, like humongous, or is it going to be like a little insignia? It'll probably be more of the first one rather than the second, humongous, which is crazy. So shout out to Tyler Eifert for, supporting David Dorn, a true hero, not these BLM people that, criminals, general lawless heathens. All right. Shout out to A. Apron who says, zombie undead lives matter, ZULM. That gets to New Wave Bossa Nova who says, Silicon Valley always hating on the independent black man. Do you, ABL? Hey, thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, they're trying to get me out of here. They were censoring Hodge twins on Facebook. Brandon Tatum on Facebook. I think Coley on the Wall getting censored too. So it's like, what's going on? You worry about that black vote, ain't you? Matter of fact, Democrats sued Kanye West over trying to be on the ballot in Virginia. Why is that? I know Virginia is a high black population. I think one of the top 10 in the nation for black population. And they think if Kanye comes in there and takes 1%, 2% of the black vote, that can really ruin their chances. See what they're doing right now? They're trying to claim that black vote for themselves. They're trying to hold on to it because they know if they lose that, it's going to be a wrap. Like I was saying before, we vote typically like 90 to 95% for the Democratic Party. 90%, that's pretty much what they expect from us, black folks voting for the Democratic Party. If that goes to 85%, they're toast. From 90% to 85%, they're finished. If it goes down to 80%, oh my, that's catastrophic. So that's not a real big shift in the points, but it is a big shift in the points because they expect 90% or more. That's just kind of what's going on. All right. Shout out to, Matthew Jordan, who says, Kyle Rittenhouse didn't kill anyone. Those deaths shouldn't be counted as COVID deaths. They get to Ronald Irving, who says, Joe Biden reminds me of Mr. Herbert from Family Guy. Chris and LaFoney James should follow Laura Ingram's advice, choking away rings. They get to Derek, who says, type Antifa.com into the search bar and see what happens. Crazy, exactly. They get to Beth Marie Evans, who says, congrats on your marriage and doing it right. You never regret it. 100. Thank you. I appreciate you. 1,000%. Shout out to my name is Beyond Your Comprehension, who says, oh, snap. Congrats, ABL wedding. The wedding is next year, not this year, but I did get legally married. So the wedding, we're going to have that. Hopefully by next year, this whole virus thing will be dead and gone. It'll probably be gone by November after the election. Let me see. Shout out to Christian 23, Allen 35, who says, what do you think about BLM destroying Confederate and United States monuments? I think they're trying to destroy history, of course. And also I saw that they're trying to remove the Washington Monument from Washington, D.C. or contextualize it or something like that. I said that. I was like, look, they'll start with the Confederate monuments and the Confederate flag. And next thing you know, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and here we are. I said it. It was easy to see. I'm not saying I'm some kind of prophet or something like that. I'm just observing the general basic pattern. If 1 + 1 is 2, then 2 + 2 is 4. That's what I'm looking at right now. I don't see anything else other than that. I'm not a sage. I'm just looking at basic patterns. Shout out to Zach, who says, speaking of the strip clubs, there's one in Nashville whose sign reads, quote, we take off everything but our masks. Great time to strip incognito. Hilarious. Shout out to, Jennifer Booker for your thank you donation with the emoji. I appreciate you. Thank you to Mike from Queens who says it's Trump or death 2020. Hey, I'm right there with you, boss. Thank you to Justice Smith who says somebody said you're scared to debate Ivan. Me, never. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to George Bones who says cool with the emoji. And thank y'all all for being here tonight. We got a whole lot going on. It's a whole lot happening. We got calls we got to get to. I'm going to just start out my Skype right quick. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. If you can't get through right away, please try again. I'll try to get you on as soon as possible. Y'all just hang tight. Let me get everything rocking and rolling the way it's supposed to be. And let me go ahead and get over here, get my speakers right, and then my microphone right. Test. There we go. Perfect. And the volume, make sure all that's good. You guys can't hear that ring, I don't think. Okay, cool. Because it's blaring right now. I turned it off, but I'm going to get right back to it. And I'm going to get that lightning bug. It's about to be dead. Because it's over there by the light, just like having a field day chilling. But it's got to go soon. All right, let me just turn my ringer off so you guys don't hear that. And then we get to the calls. So you guys just hang tight. There we go. Perfect. All righty. Oh, we got T on deck. Thank you. Perfect timing. Like the excellent timing. All righty. The number to call, 434-658. Somebody said, no, leave it. Nah, it's gonna go to the upper room. That's where it's going. It says it's about to be dead. Now, yes, it's about to be gone. That's what's going to happen. Let's get to the next call. To the first call, pardon me. All right, calling on line 262. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Jack.
All right, man. What's going on?
Nothing. Just wanted to say that I'm a disagreeing fan.
You said what now?
Just want to say I'm a disagreeing fan here. I don't necessarily agree with you. I'm more of a left-wing type of guy, but I think that you're one of the only people that I can stand to listen to that's on the right, to be honest with you. Probably one of the only people that I can actually look forward to watching your videos. But I just disagree with you on the Trump thing. I think Biden is also trash. I think they're all trash. That's why I got to vote third party. I can't vote for these two terrible politicians. I know you're a Trump supporter, and that's fine, but I think you sold us out. I think you just sell out just like Joe Biden's a sellout, and Barack Obama and Bush are all sellouts. But that's just my 2 cents. I know you disagree probably, but
well, who are you going to vote for?
I'm probably going to vote. I'm probably going to vote for Howie Hawkins of the Green Party, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so what about that person? Like, what about them makes you think that's going to be the best choice for you?
Because he aligns with my policies. He's anti-war. He's anti-establishment. He's just anti-establishment. He's for Medicare for all. He's for ending the wars, the drug war. He's for all that stuff that I agree with. That attracted me to Bernie Sanders. So that's why I'm voting for this guy. He does have issues. He's a Russiagator. I'm not a Russiagator. But other than that, I think he's probably the best option we got right now.
Now, can he win?
Not a chance. I know he doesn't have a chance, but I don't want to vote for Biden. I regretted my vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I regretted for it. I think she was the worst candidate we probably could have ever had. She's just complete trash. She should be in jail. But I don't have any bones saying that Howie Hawkins is going to win. But I can't vote for these two right-wing candidates.
Okay. Now, what was I getting ready to ask? Now, what's your issue with Trump? You said that he's like selling this out. He's just not really the guy that.
Yeah. I mean, I liked some of the stuff he had to say, and then he said he was going to get us out of the wars. He was going to drain the swamp, and I'm seeing all these people he's appointed as cabinet, and I'm like, this seems eerily similar to the opposite of what he said. He was criticizing Hillary Clinton for doing all these bad things, which is right. She did do all these bad things, and then he basically does a lot of bad things. Like he increased the drone wars. He increased the spying. He's outsourced more jobs than Obama did, and Obama wasn't good. So all these things that I hated Obama for, and I hate Obama. I think he's a terrible president. Barack Obama or Donald Trump is just as bad, if not worse.
Well, I mean, I think Trump has been the guy that's been anti-war. Even Rand Paul, the libertarian, came out and said that Trump's been anti-war. How do you feel about Rand Paul?
I like Rand Paul. He's probably the best He's probably the best registered Republican we got. I disagree with him domestically, like on just domestic issues. I disagree with him probably totally there. But his, criminal justice, his foreign policy, I think it's spot on. It's one of the best we got. I mean, it's at times it's better than Bernie Sanders at times, and Bernie Sanders is probably my guy. But what he said at the RNC, I'm like, okay, he's kind of lying to himself. He knows that Trump hasn't gotten us out of the wars. He hasn't done all these things he said he was going to do. And I thought, this is kind of a hypocritical thing. You call it Obama, rightfully so, for continuing the wars and adding more wars, and he kind of Donald Trump's doing the exact same thing. I mean, I don't get, that's called hypocrisy. That's why it kind of shocks me.
Well, I mean, Rand Paul was saying that Trump has been an anti-war guy. We've not had any kind of, strike with like in Iran or North Korea or anything like that. I think there was one strike in Syria, but nobody got hurt. He's not been a war kind of guy. And Hillary Clinton, she was really pro-war before like 2008. She's really I think she'd be pro-war if she would be elected now. I feel like Trump is probably one of the most anti-war guys that we have. But, I respect your opinion, but I disagree on that. I think he's really anti-war because we've not gotten into any wars.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Hillary Clinton is definitely pro-war. She would have probably done more wars. She probably wouldn't have gotten into wars. I mean, I don't think Trump is bad on everything. I got people in my family who are, like, anything you say bad about, like Joe Biden or Barack Obama, they will say, you're wrong. The Democrats helped you out. The Democrats aren't bad. You're just wasting your vote, and Donald Trump's the worst thing ever. I'm like, no, that's not true. Obama was a terrible president. He was a shitty president. I don't like him. I wouldn't have voted for him if I could. I wasn't old enough at the time to. But they need to open their eyes. And I got people on both sides that need to open their eyes to this. But I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you taking the time out to listen to my point of view.
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes. Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And let's get to the next one here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. And if you have not liked the video yet, please do so. Also, subscribe to the channel. That'll help me out tremendously. 768 you're online. I'm speaker to.
Hey, what's up, brother? How's it going?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, that's good to hear, man. First of all, man, I want to give you a congrats on your wedding.
Oh, thank you. Well, the wedding's not yet. The wedding is next year, but I am legally married.
Oh, that's good to hear. So, what I want to talk about today is the guy on your last call saying that he dislikes Trump because he's voting third party. I am a Trump supporter. I supported him both in 2016 and in the 2020 election. I'm going to support him in 2020. I know a lot of people who are going to be voting for Joe Jorgensen because because of the same issues. They don't like Trump because he's not anti-war and a lot of things that they're blaming him on are like he didn't bring the troops home or anything. And my thing is this, the dude has so much fighting against him from the other side. I think that if the Democrats were able to just work with him from the beginning, he would have able to accomplish a lot of the things that these third party candidates like Joe Jorgensen would able to is trying to do, like bringing the troops home. Donald Trump does want to bring the troops home, but he's doing it in a way where we do not leave the Middle East in a mess. That's why he signed the peace agreement with them, and he's slowly bringing the troops back home. Um, so that's just kind of like my thing. That's just kind of like my thing. A lot of what these third-party candidates are going for, I think that if Trump was able to do his job in the first place, he would have been able to get a lot more things accomplished that these people want.
Well, see, the thing about Jo Jorgensen is that she's like a BLM supporter. She put it on her Twitter.
That's the thing. That's the thing that really gets me about it. I tell all the people that support Jo Jorgensen, look, the three things that I cannot get behind her on is, her supporting BLM, her supporting, open border policy, and her wanting to you see, I'm not 100% sure about her police policy, but a lot of people that do support her say that they want to defund the police or reform them to paramedic or EMS standards. So the thing is, you cannot really do that because, how is an EMS or a paramedic going to respond to like a domestic violence call?
Yeah, exactly. That's not really how these things work. People don't understand the way that law enforcement is or the way that society is. They don't understand the way that things are set up. They have to operate that way for the safety of everyone involved, not just those that are responding, but also those that are calling.
Yeah, exactly. And now I do believe that we do have issues with people with officers that do overstep their boundaries. There's a bad group of people and every group of people, but the overwhelming majority, at least in my opinion, they do tremendous things for the communities, especially in people who in communities who really need it, like minority communities. Like Baltimore. Baltimore needs police there. And a lot of people that I see defunding the police. I was watching Brandon Tatum's live podcast the other day, and he said this exactly. All these people that are complaining about defunding the police, they should go out there and patrol the neighborhoods themselves. But they're not going to do that. They're going to sit behind a keyboard and run their fingers.
Exactly. They're not going to really, people got all types of things they can say about the police and how they're going to operate and how they should be, but they're not really out there. They don't understand the way things are. I saw one situation where a guy was like that. He was real critical of the police, and he went on a ride along with the police, and that changed his whole mind because he had no idea what they actually go through. He needed to see things from their perspective to truly understand. So, hey, man, I thank you for the call. I got a lot more. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And I guess I did get the bug because I don't see it flying around no more, hitting with that one swing. But, hey, it's all good. All bugs go to heaven. Okay, let's get to the next call. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let me go ahead and get to it. 309, you're on the line. One speaker two. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Oh, this is Noah Kane from Illinois. Hey, I was just calling. I was wondering if you saw the Joe Rogan Spotify about him censoring Alex Jones, and if you had any thoughts on that.
Now, I've seen something about that. I saw that some episodes that Spotify uploaded of Joe Rogan's from YouTube to Spotify did not make it. It was one with Jordan Peterson's daughter. That wasn't up there. I guess Alex Jones the same way. But yeah, I feel like that's probably just Spotify doing what they do because they're a business and they don't want to have certain things on there that could have their brand be painted in a bad light. So, that's really on Spotify, the company. That's why I say this whole thing with censorship and whatnot, it really just boils down to private business doing what they're going to do. So if I have any kind of issue here, I could talk about it and I can say if it's unfair or whatnot, I could try to get something accomplished with it. But at the same time, my website and things that I can control, that's the only real way that I'll have true independence, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm only 19, and I remember when during Obama's era, I've never even I've never seen, like, to this magnitude, the amount of censorship, and that's what really drew me to the right, because I used to be a huge Democrat. My parents are huge Democrats, or they were, and I just believed whatever they told me. But, I mean, the lies are as clear as day, and if you can't see it, I mean, I don't understand why people keep buying this stuff, like LeBron James and all these other people virtue signaling, thinking they know everything about the world. When, like, LeBron James, I mean, he's had millions of dollars since the age of 18, whenever he got that Nike deal, and Kaepernick, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people that are out there with the whole BLM stuff, a lot of them are trying to get attention. A lot of them are just kind of misinformed. Like you said, you were kind of misinformed. You didn't know what was going on. People are like that in the world. They're misinformed. Sometimes they stay that way because they don't want to learn and they're open-minded. And sometimes they come to the light and they're able to really figure out what's happening. So I'm glad you were able to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, when you start thinking with logic instead of emotions, I mean, you're going to be on the right. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, man, you're right about that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like, oh, we're gonna give people free health care and free college, but we're simultaneously going to lower taxes. Like, how's that one work? I don't really get that, but maybe Bernie Sanders can explain that to me.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'll let you get to your other callers. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. Great callers tonight. I'm going to try to get to everybody as soon as I can. Y'all just hang tight. Keep on calling. Let me get to the next one. Nico, what's happening, boss?
Can you hear me, Anthony? Is everything well?
I hear you well. I hear you perfect.
All I gotta say is that even out here in California, I mean, even though we're probably getting hit the worst out here, I gotta say for myself, I feel that I'm doing better personally.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna be living out in a rural area that's actually outside of the Bay Area region, and it's an hour south of Sacramento.
Okay, so you're able to kind of get away from the madness?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Not much really happens out there.
Right. But that's probably the best way to be. You don't want to live in the big, crazy area where it's too much going on to where, you're living in just a crazy place. You want to live in a peaceful place where you can have a good life. Well,
that's actually a crazy thing because I know that California is always a punching bag because of the extreme progressive policies that come out and that sort of stuff. But that comes out of 15% of California's geography. And this is coming from me coming here. But when you go outside, you see a lot of people are actually talking about showing their passion for Trump. There was even one of these businesses that have been shuttered that said that this is all Gavin Newsom's fault. And you do see there's a lot of trucks. I see a lot of trucks out there that have these recall Gavin Newsom stickers in the back.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm glad to see that because it lets me know that, like you said, it's only a small percentage of the population or the geography really that feels this way. But people that are outside of that, regular people just don't feel the same way. They don't like this guy, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah. And I just want to talk about something that might be a little off topic. And I just want to say to your callers that don't always judge people by their face value. Because sure, with the long hair and the creepy with the metal stuff, but I'm not like one of those Antifa folks out there. And speaking of that, have you heard of a label called Nuclear Blast record label?
Yeah.
Here's something that kind of irks me a bit. You know how you always have this distance learning with the education system because of the quote-unquote COVID? Here's something that kind of aggravates me a little bit. They're actually hosting their live streams. They're live streaming their concerts rather than having those normal in-person concerts. And the problem is that they're actually you would pay your regular admission, which I don't think I'm going to pay $35 to $40 for admission just to watch a live stream. You probably get the same feeling as buying one of the archived live shows from 5 to 10 years ago on a DVD, or probably watch it on YouTube or something.
Exactly. Like if I want to see them perform, I just watch them on YouTube. It's the same thing. I don't need to pay $35 to see them perform. That's not, because you're not going to see anything new. See, if I was to pay for a live event, it's got to be a new thing, like a fight or something. I don't know what's going to happen at the end. I don't know who's going to win, who's going to lose. I have no idea what's going to go on. But you know how the song is going to go. You've heard it before. The experience is what you pay the money for, to actually go to the event and enjoy the company of people that are there, have a good time, have fun.
Yeah, and you know what's even the part I really miss about these live shows is that most of the time I actually get to hang out with a lot of the band members after the show.
Yeah, that's got to be fun right there. Just having that experience, you don't forget that.
Oh yeah, even hanging out with a lot of them, mostly coming from Europe, particularly Sweden and Germany and that sort of stuff. That's even the more fun part right there.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I just want to say that, and I also want to say is that, have you actually heard about this guy named I think it's in Wisconsin right now. And have you heard of this guy, this Antifa commander who was actually crying when he got arrested?
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. That was hilarious.
I mean, he's about 25 years. He's actually closer to my age, and then all of a sudden he starts. I remember seeing this saying, "Can I just call my mom at least one last time?"
Crying for mommy, but you an Antifa commander. How does that work?
I'm not really sure, really. I mean, even I gotta tell you this funny story. Speaking of the police, you don't mind me telling the story that's actually happened the other day, and I got another funny story I gotta show. Is that I actually did get pulled over by the police on Friday morning.
Oh wow, okay. So how did that go?
What happened was I was actually driving to my mom's place, and it was 40 minutes away from where I live, right? And I decided to go there. She lives in another rural area, and I go to the market to buy some bacon, which was kind of funny. I get stopped by police and bought some bacon, and then the next thing I know, I get pulled over by the cop, and then he says he catches me not wearing my seatbelt, but I happen to put my seatbelt on right after he pulled me over.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I actually had no idea. I had no idea I didn't put on my seatbelt until he told me.
Right.
And I was like, and then the only thing I meant, I was actually cursing to myself when he was writing the tickets. And then it was funny. And he was also and the funny thing was that he was this Filipino guy. He was this short Filipino guy. And I asked him this really quick question. I said, do people call you racist? It's like, yeah, people call me racist. People actually called me white supremacist on a few occasions.
Wow, crazy. Filipino guy, he's a white supremacist. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And I said, hey, I know it sucks to be a cop right now, but at least you're just trying to do the right thing. He said, yeah, thanks, and thank you for cooperating. That was the only thing he said to me.
Perfect, man. Everything was good. You doing this job, you doing your job. Everything was perfect. That's the way it's supposed to go.
Oh, yeah, nothing bad here. But I'm just going to end it right here because you are really hitting the big time.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Good hearing from you.
All right, now, take care.
Yeah.
All right, good call from my man Nico, 100%. Yeah, but that whole thing, they calling Filipino guys white supremacists. I get called white supremacists. Now, I'm saying my 2 times great-grandfather was white, but, I mean, do I look white? Like, for real, like, you gonna call me white supremacist? That's gonna be kind of hard when they get off right there. That's gonna be kind of difficult to really, to prove that one. But hey, it is what it is. Thank y'all for being here. I see this video on my Twitter. It's not graphic. I think everything is pretty, it might be a little bit of cussing, but it's not like bloody or anything. Now, here's the caption. NYPD cops were filmed saving the man's life after he was shot in the Bronx. Some members of the community are outraged that the officers aren't wearing masks. So this man shot, he's on the ground. They're trying to save his life. You're worried about masks. I think getting the virus is not on this man's mind. He already got shot. So what's more important? Wearing the mask, try not to bleed out for getting shot. Bleeding out for getting shot, wearing the mask. Let's just kind of weigh it and see how the thing goes. Hold on. Do I have sound? There's no sound. But yeah. So they're surrounding him. Look, he's trying to cut his shirt off, trying to get to the actual wound. And people just surrounding him, like not even helping. It's like, come on, man, what are y'all doing? What's the point of being in New York if this is going on? If you're in NYPD, I'm just like, if you are in NYPD or anywhere else with this kind of stuff going on, people not cooperating, I feel for you. I really do, because right now it ain't the time. People are crazy, and I blame the media 1,000%. All right, Matt, what's happening?
ABL, what's happening, man?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, hang with me 1 second. I'd like to see a Candace Owens and Anthony ticket. That'd be pretty slick, I think. I'm making your head blow up here. Hey, you ever heard of normalcy bias?
No, I haven't.
Normalcy bias is this tendency that if you had the best analogy for it is if you had a river and people lived on that river and there was a dam upstream and the dam was getting ready to break, the people that lived a few miles downstream would be freaking out. And then the people that lived only a mile downstream would be kind of worried about it, but not really very worried about it. But the people living right underneath the dam would be as calm as Hindu cows. They won't even care. If it breaks, it breaks. Not a big deal. And that is called normalcy bias. The opposite of that, I mean, it's hard to find the opposite of that, but I would call it catastrophe bias. I mean, I guess it's a mouthful, but and what you're seeing with COVID is kind of like what we saw with the hole in the ozone layer, because in the 90s they thought like we'd all be having to be wearing SPF 1000 sunblock, and these scientists all got together and they said, oh yeah, it's obviously CFCs, we got to ban those things. We did thousands of years of damage to the ozone layer, and it just, our kids will have to deal with it, and our kids will have to deal with it. But the damn hole in the ozone closed up already.
Right.
And what it is, it's a little bit of scientific malpractice, and I would call it catastrophe bias. So they didn't have satellites up there that were looking at the ozone. And then they did in the 90s. And then they said, oh, this hole's opening up. But they didn't know, they didn't have a frame of reference prior to that. Were holes opening up prior to this? And CFCs are heavy in air. So after you spray them, they go down into the dirt. They don't go up into the atmosphere. And there's a lot of people that are really critical at science. You see it with CFCs. I think this virology thing kind of falls into that basket, because now we can sequence these DNAs a lot faster than we've ever been able to, and we were able to actually to get metrics on where these germs come from and stuff like that. I mean, we didn't know where Spanish flu come from until about 10 years ago. Mm. Like they're like, oh, we looked at DNA and it looks like it actually came from farms in Kansas and stuff like that, like kind of an avian thing. Right. So as they're coming up with all this climatology and virology, and they're even doing it with asteroids, like the world of, I predict, and again, it's happened in the past, but that they're going to see an asteroid that they're going to say, man, it could hit us at any time. And people are going to freak out, but it's just going to be a close pass. And we're not going to have a good frame of reference for all the asteroids that have been missing us and never hit us. So, but I think a little bit of it is catastrophe virus, and that the government really, really, really likes perfectly good catastrophe. I mean, they like a chaotic situation that they could take advantage of. It's a void where they can come in and fill up that kind of thing. Right. That's all I got for you. And other than maybe, did you seen the video where Kyle Rittenhouse was punching some girls and stuff like that? I saw a video, but that's not been verified that that's him. Yeah, take a look at it. It's part of me is like, hey, this Kyle kid is like a real hero and everything, and I still believe it, even if that's him in that video. But I'm quickly reminded that he's a child. I mean, like he's 17, and he shouldn't. That's the situation that would cause him to be out there, and I understand that there's reasons to be out there. It's the saddest part is like people are being put in these situations, and I'm not mature enough to handle. I trained with an AR. I joined the military at 16. I would have never put myself into that situation. Like it's too difficult. So there needs to be law and order. They need to prevent situations and opportunities for this type of chaos, I think.
I'm with you, absolutely.
But yeah, man, I appreciate your podcast a lot.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, bye.
All right, good call from my man, Matt. Yeah, the whole thing with now there's a video that came out of a person that they say is Kyle Rittenhouse, and he's getting into this fight with this girl. Like, I don't know the circumstance. So they're saying that some girls were fighting and he jumped in. That might have been his sister or something, but that's not been confirmed that it's him. If you see on any news platform, they'll say a person that's reportedly Kyle Rittenhouse, but they're not saying that that's him. I don't know if it's him or not. And this whole thing about him being young, well, my dad was 17 when he joined the Marines. When he went to Parris Island, he was 17. And you could be 18 going out there and with your weapon and fighting and dying, 18 years old. So, I mean, I think that when it's all said and done, he'll be vindicated. All this stuff around him, it won't even really matter anymore. So shout out to Kyle Rittenhouse for doing what's right, for being out there defending his community. Yes, he did live in that area. He worked in that area. He crossed state lines. He lived 12 miles away, right over the line in Antioch, which is right there. It's in the same region. You can drive 12 miles in many cities in America and still be in the same city. So let's kill this. So the reason why they keep saying cross state lines is to make him be this big bully, this big monster. Oh, he was a vigilante that crossed state lines with a military grade weapon. Stupid stuff, exaggerating. This is why I say the media sucks. Yellow journalism, trying to sensationalize something to make you fear him and to make it appear to be, Trump supporter gone rogue, shooting innocent protesters. Meanwhile, you shot a whole pedophile. You shot a convicted felon with a firearm and somebody else that chased him down and tried to hit him with a skateboard in his head. What is he going to do? But I digress. All right, caller line, I'm speaking to 617.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is me. I heard one of your I guess one of your listeners that said that you're afraid to debate me.
Somebody was joking, because that's never.
It was joking? Okay, yeah. Okay. So you keep saying that Biden is old, and I believe that, he's old. He's an older man. His mentally capabilities is declining. But Trump is worse.
Oh, how was that?
Do you watch the interview with Laura Ingraham?
Yeah.
Come on, you've seen Trump every day. You gotta be kidding.
So what did he say? What did he say that made him look worse?
That you know about the disinfectant and people use UV light pass to your body, put it inside somewhere. Come on.
You said Laura Ingraham. Is that where you said that on Laura Ingraham?
Well, no, he said but in different occasions. This guy is not suitable. Neither one is suitable. Neither one is suitable to be president. The Republican pick up the bottom of the bottom. That was Trump. And the Democrat pick up the bottom of the bottom because they couldn't go with Bernie Sanders because they knew that Bernie Sanders won't be successful with the Senate. And Biden is the most center candidate, and just being the vice president will help them. So that's what they thought. But Biden apparently is not at his best right now. He's older. But neither one is qualified right now. They're both garbage.
That's your opinion. I disagree. I think Biden. I think Biden does not know where he is or who he is. I think Trump is an excellent president, and we got 4 more years. So go ahead and get ready.
Excellent president.
Yes.
Excellent president. Tell me one foreign policy accomplishment that Trump has done that he said that was going to close all these deals. Tell me one.
No North Korea war. getting out of NATO, removing troops from Iraq,
But
getting out of
we're still in NATO.
Afghanistan.
What are you talking about? We're still in NATO.
We're not as responsible for the lion's share
We're
of
still
the.
in NATO. We are
I'm
not
talking,
responsible.
sir. We're not as responsible.
even know
Well,
what
I'm
you're
talking,
talking.
sir. You got to be quiet as I'm talking. I put you on mute. We're not as responsible for the lion's share of all the monies, and we're not overextending ourselves. We're moving troops away from Middle East and Europe and whatnot, bringing them back home to the United States. We're not overextending ourselves. You know, we're becoming more focused on America rather than abroad. So that's the main thing that I see that I like. We're talking about foreign policy, but go ahead.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Yes,
sure.
there's no deal with North Korea. First of all, we're never going to go to war with North Korea. That's not true. Second,
You said what now? Excuse me? What you say?
That's not true.
Hold on.
We're never
What
gonna
say?
go to war with North Korea. We're
So-
not going to go to war with North Korea. We've been trying to close a deal with North Korea since the 80s, since Reagan. We tried it with Clinton in 1994. Did work at the beginning, then North Korea started cheating, so that's what we pulled out of the deal. Trump said was going to close all the deals. Nothing did. Actually, it gave North Korea more space towards South Korea. That's that. First of all, NATO. You don't even know what NATO is. NATO has nothing to do with financial burner. NATO has to do with your own military budgeting. So that's nothing. We don't shovel no money to NATO.
You just
So I don't know what you're talking
you
about.
said military budget,
You don't
so
know
that's
what
money
you're
that we
talking
spend.
about.
So you just
You don't know
said
what you're talking about.
military
NATO-
budget. We spend. I'm gonna put you on mute. You just said military budget, so we do spend money on NATO. I mean, come on, you just said it right there. So let's get your story together.
Your own military. Second, another area, the deal with Iran. He said he was going to close the deal with Iran. No deal with Iran. Obama did close the deal with Iran. Six nations were involved. Even China, that will help us to do that. Russia will help us to do that. Now, another area, the nuclear proliferation agreement. Russia bail out and China bail out. So now we can't even control those two countries because we don't even have
we can't do that anyway. We can't do that anyway. You think we're going to be able to control China? Really?
No, you don't have to control it. You don't have to.
But you just said that though.
But
You just said it.
control it as an alliance. You control an alliance.
So are we gonna? So did you say control by accident, or you said it on purpose?
No,
Which one?
as an alliance. We could because we could get friends.
So when you said
Germany,
control, you didn't
we
mean
could
control, right?
Control, like we could say, hey, if you don't sign this agreement, we're gonna put sanctions on you. That's the control that we
on
have.
China,
We don't have
really?
that anymore. The guys being
Man, please,
disaster.
you can't control no China.
Domestic
Are you
policy.
dumb?
Let's talk about domestic policy. COVID-19, I think 160,000 people dead. He said we're going to get a vaccine. We're supposed to have a vaccine by now, according to him. He said the vaccine was going to be by I don't know, February, March or something like that.
That's not what he said. Come on, stop it. He didn't say that.
12 people.
Why would he say the vaccine be done by March of this year when the whole thing didn't even really start until March? Like, get your lie together, first of all. Second of all, how many died from the virus and only the virus and not other things like, I don't know, being 1,000 pounds, having heart disease, diabetes, and stuff like that. And the numbers are also inflated to a certain extent because there's been stories that have come out from all over the country where the numbers are totally wrong, 90% error rate in the reporting of the numbers because people are trying to get money because you get money for people that get put on the vent or for each COVID patient, you getting money. So it's a lot of fraud out there. It's a lot of waste out there. It's a lot of abuse out there as it relates to the virus numbers. But go ahead. Hey, but you can't cuss on the show, though. I'm glad you were muted because you can't cuss on the show.
You handled it through.
What truth?
Hello? You can't even handle it. Just you have to talk over me.
But you know what? You know, what's funny is that when I'm talking on my show, you can't talk over me because this is what I can do. I can just mute you and not even have you on my headphones. Like if you're talking right now, I can't even hear you because I don't even really care. I'm talking. That's my show. So you got to wait until I'm done and then you get to talk. That's how the show goes. But go ahead.
Okay. So that's not true. Nothing what you say about the COVID, the payment is not true. Hospitals are going bankrupt because patients, the patient that is staying in the hospital for 2 and 3 months at a time. So nothing is true. Plus other patients with other problems. So that's not true.
Are they going bankrupt because of the patients that are in the hospital for a long time or because others are afraid to go in there because of the virus pandemic hysteria?
They have patients that some patients stay for a month or 2 months.
No. You didn't even hear the question. You weren't listening. The question was, are hospitals going bankrupt because of the virus patients that are in the hospital for a long time, or are they going broke because other patients don't want to come to the hospital like they would normally do for checkups and whatnot and for general just aches and pains because they're afraid of the virus?
All right. So another area. So
okay, that was a question. You can answer it, or I'm gonna get to the next call.
what is the question?
You're not listening. Okay, I'll give you one last chance to answer the question. Then get to the next call. The question was, are the hospitals going broke because of virus patients that are staying there for a long time, or is it because patients that would normally come to the hospital for general checkups and other procedures are not coming because they're scared of the virus? Which one?
Because patients stay for a long time.
Okay, all right. So general patients that would normally come to the hospital, they're just going as normal, and there's no decrease in general traffic. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if
yes or no question. Yes or no question. We don't got all day. Come on. Yes or no question.
You got cancer patients. You got patients with other diseases, diabetes, and other pancreatic problems, all kind of problems.
Yes or no question. Answer the question.
You add the COVID-19 patients, they stay longer in the hospital.
All right. How about this? Have a good night, sir. Thank you. All right. Shout out to Ivan. Now, the answer to the question was regular patients that go to the hospital, they're not coming as usual because they're afraid of the virus. Therefore, a lot of the monies that the hospital would get from these people is not there anymore. Therefore, they're going broke. It's not necessarily because of virus patients that are staying for a long time. That's not really what's happening. Okay, so let's get to the next call, and let's go to... All right, Skype caller, what's happening?
Oh, how you doing, ABL?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Oh, good. I've been calling you. Finally got in. And I just wanted to talk to you about Drew Brees and why he stepped back his comments on the flag. I think that was pretty weak of him. I mean, he said what he said, and he should have stood by it.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like he probably got a lot of pressure from inside the NFL. Guys that, are on a team with him. They want to play alongside him. He wants to play alongside them. That could have been what was going on. And he doesn't want the brand of a racist or anything like that, although what he said was not racist. It was just general information.
Right. It's just being American. I just wish he didn't backpedal on that. Like, if you're man enough to say it, you should have said it and just stood by it. And I thought that was kind of weak of him.
Absolutely.
And then, ABL, another thing is this sports. Like, I'm actually glad that they are sitting, kneeling for this Black Lives Matter, because it exposes who they really are. I would rather see them be honest in their hate for this country than to stand up and be fakers, be pretenders. So I'm actually glad because I'm not watching esports anymore.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I understand. But at the same time, it's like, man, if you feel this way, don't tell me. I still want to be able to enjoy the game. I'm a big time basketball fan. I've been to pro games. I've been to, high school, college. I really enjoy basketball. I'm 6'3". I can dunk. I used to be able to dunk when I was a young kid, but I enjoy the game. But now it's like I got BLM all over the place. I got all this stuff, not only on the court, not only from the players, but also from the commentators. You got guys crying on TV. It's like, man, what are we doing? Am I watching a Lifetime movie or what?
Yeah, it's really sad. It's just kind of poisoned the well for me, and I don't even know when I'm going to return to it. I mean, basketball is not even basketball. Like, 90s basketball was so much better than today's basketball when teams were teams. It seems like today it's just whoever team LeBron's on, or it's like individual. It's not what it used to be, and that's pretty sad.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're 100% right.
So, ABL, thank you so much for taking my call. I've been trying weeks and weeks. I support you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. I appreciate him. And thank you all for being here tonight. You guys are the best audience on the internet. Quick commercial break right quick. I'm excited about this. Straight from the Trump campaign, download this free app to get connected with the Trump campaign, to get up on all the news and whatnot that's happening. Social media, they want to be all in the way, trying to prevent you from being able to get access to what's going on. They blocking my posts. They blocking Trump's posts on Twitter. If you get the app straight from Trump, straight from the campaign, then you can see what's going on straight from the proverbial horse's mouth. It's free. All you got to do is give them your phone number and, verify it. And I'll put a link right here in the chat box. And the link is always in the description box. This is a Trump 2020 app straight from the Trump campaign. It's official, verified, straight from me. And like I said, if I do an ad on the channel that you hear from my mouth, not just whatever comes on the YouTube video automatically, I don't control that. But if you hear it from me saying it, then I'm with it 100%. Like I did an ad for Kim Klacik. I'm with that 100%. Before I was able to do an ad for Kim Klacik, I say, hey, go to her website, go do whatever you can, support her. Elisa Stefanik, I'll support her 100%. And we got the Trump 2020 app straight from the campaign. Click on the link that's right there in the description box and also in the chat box. It's free. Just verify with your phone number, you be good to go. Getting information and whatnot straight from the campaign itself on your Apple iPhone device or on your Android device. Alrighty. So that's what I got. So the number to call is 434-658-1220. Alrighty. Jordan, what's happening?
Yo, what up, ABL?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Yeah, Ivan needs to stop being all acting like a baby sometimes, because I remember when he was talking about the impeachment way back when this year, and he brought up that Trump was being impeached for Article 2, even though Article 2 has none of what Trump was being impeached for. So if he's going to tell you that you don't know what you're talking about, he's going to have to acknowledge that he doesn't know what he's talking about too.
Right, exactly.
About the NBA, I'm kind of done with the NBA, man. I think like multimedia for sports in general have lacked in quality because of the social justice stuff. I mean, even some of the games are garbage today. I have to harken back to things like, back when, NBA Street, when EA Sports Big, that era back in the early 2000s. I still play those games. I don't play the new stuff anymore. I just feel like sports is just, it's turning a bad leaf.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because I really enjoy sports, especially basketball. That's my favorite sport. I like football too, but basketball is really where I'm at. I mean, I enjoy playing the video games. I enjoy playing myself out there on the court, watching the games. I've been to pro games, college, high school, all of that. I enjoy it. But now they didn't put all this stuff on it that I just didn't want. Nobody asked for that. I feel like the commissioner, Adam Silver, should step in and right the ship. Back when it was getting unpopular in the 90s, but all the Iverson stuff with the dreads and the crazy stuff they were wearing, they tightened it up, they fixed it, and then they got it back on track. Now that we got BLM, it's like, okay, where is the fixing for that? I don't really see it happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, me neither, unfortunately. Pelosi wants an apology from the hairstylist now. She's like, she wants an apology now.
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
Yeah, it just goes to show how much it's all. Again, this is a theme I talk about. It's okay when they do it, but when we do it, it's bad. It's racist. It's sexist. It's offensive. So it's dangerous. So it's just a common theme within the Democratic Party at this point. I get tired of it.
Yeah, you know what it is. Do as I say, but never as I do. That's pretty much their mantra at this particular point in time.
Yeah, and then one more thing before I head out. Joe Biden has been flip-flopping on his positions lately. He flip-flopped on defunding the police. He initially said he didn't want to defund them, and then he went to now this to a progressive activist, and then he said, oh, I propose taking money from the police into other services, social services. And now he flip-flopped on fracking, because all of 2019 and early 2020 with the debate between him and Sanders, he talked about, oh, I want to end the oil industry, no new fracking, I want to make a greener environment, I want to end fossil fuels. And now he said he accused Donald Trump of lying, and PolitiFact did this too, unfortunately, and that his official stance is we're not going to ban fracking. So I have a feeling that I don't think Joe Biden knows his own policies. I think somebody's handling his policies for him. I can't see how you make a blatant change in tune like that and not think that somebody's doing this for you if you don't even know your own policies. I don't think he stands for anything either if he's going to do something like this.
No, not at all. He's pretty much a puppet, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I think I think they're kind of desperate after seeing those polls start closing in. Because if you look at the polls lately, they were far apart between Trump and Biden during the pandemic, and now September comes and they're back together. So that's dangerous for them. It's I think after the riots happened, some people aren't going to be insured enough to get their buildings back. I don't think that Biden's going to get much support. I think he's going to Kenosha simply because Trump decided to go to Kenosha.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, Trump's going and people are saying, you got to go too. You can't just be in your basement. So he has to go. Now he's trying to make up ground because of Trump's.
In an interview with Kamala, in his little area where he ate breakfast and stuff. Meanwhile, Trump's down over there in Kenosha with the people whose stuff were burnt down.
Yeah, that whole thing was totally useless. Like, what are you even doing? Like, you could have just kept that little fake live stream for yourself.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to head out, ABL. It's nice talking to you. See you later, Chad. Peace.
Peace. All right. Shout out to Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And you guys are the best audience on the internet. So let me get to a few more calls. Let's get to, let me see. All right. 361, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. Hi, Mrs. ABL. This is Jennifer calling from South Texas. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. About yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's pretty darn hot here. But first of all, I saw the debate with you and Anthony Rogers, right?
Yeah.
And you just crushed him on all things. It was so fun to see your face. You could tell, like, okay, let it be my turn because I'm going to just dismantle him. But yeah, I love when he said, the dumbest thing I think he said, in my opinion, was, and be nice to me in the chat. Be nice.
Don't read that. Don't read that. Just stay
no,
here.
I know. I'm not looking at it. Was when he said that there are so many people of color out here with master's degrees, and you've got these college dropout white guys like Bill Gates. That was so funny. Like he thought that a master's degree is equal to intelligence. The college doesn't equal intelligence.
Yeah, I was kind of confused on that one. I'm like, okay, you talking about guys that are self-made. Like, that's the whole point. Okay, you talking about trying to get employment and trying to force. It's like, nah, nobody had to place Bill Gates anywhere. He had some friends. They started a company. And now you have Microsoft. This guy's like a bajillionaire. And the same thing with Steve Jobs and a bunch of other guys. And Steve Jobs is Syrian, not even white, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Well, what I called is I sent you an email with a link. I watched a video by Kevin's Corner, and I went and I investigated, and I watched the actual video of the event. It was at the Fowler Museum at UCLA.
Okay.
And it was with Patrice Cullors and Dr. Malene Abdullah. And there was a performance piece about, it was called A Prayer for the Runner.
I think I saw your email. Yeah, and I saw that what she was doing. It looked like witchcraft to me. Is that what was going on in your mind?
Exactly. What they're practicing is Yoruba of Ifa. And what they're actually doing is when they're telling everybody to say their name, they're actually trying to invoke the spirits of the dead to fight their battles. And I can't understand for the life of me why nobody is talking about this. That video only had about 1,500 views. I mean, where are all the Christians? Where are all the religious leaders? I thought we are in support of Black lives. I thought it wasn't a religious movement.
Well, I could tell what it was from the beginning. Like all this stuff that they're praising, it's become a religion in itself. And what you sent, it just kind of confirms what I have been thinking about. The people that started the movement, they see it as a religious thing. So it's no surprise that it has a religious overtone, and it's not positive religion. It's their own thing. It's their own witchcraft type stuff they got going on. So yeah, not surprising at all. But you would think.
I'm sorry.
You would think people that are religious, that are Christian and whatnot, would kind of pick up on how evil this organization is, aside from the obvious witchcraft element they have going on.
And this was through UCLA. The one lady was a college professor, and we wonder what's happening to our youth. I mean, my niece, it has fallen off the left cliff. And then you see people like this, and you hear what they're spewing, and they sound nice, and it's all so beautiful, and everybody, and they're naive. They haven't lived life yet. They haven't, been out there, and they just get sucked into this garbage.
That's right. That's right. It's really crazy. So I think things like that should get a little bit more airtime, so people are able to understand what's going on, rather than just watching television, watching mainstream media. They'll tell them the exact opposite.
Well, do the sports players understand what they're putting on the back of their jerseys?
No, these guys don't
even say their name.
These guys don't even vote. So how would they know anything about what's going on with the organization behind closed doors, or not so much behind closed doors, but that's not broadcast to the media?
That it's just unbelievable. I hope everybody goes and looks. It's called A Prayer for the Runner by Patrice Cullors. And also for all of y'all fleeing New York and California to Texas, please leave your liberal, ideas there. Please do not bring them to Texas.
Exactly. Keep all the other stuff where you come from, and just have that be that.
Yeah. Well, we have a Trump rally coming up down here this Saturday, and it's such a shame that I have to worry about going to support Trump. I have to worry about who's going to, be there, or,
Right. Yeah. Hopefully everything goes right.
I have to worry about my safety.
Yeah, I hear you.
But although I will say, when I went to pick up a Trump flag, I stopped at the store and I said, can I find a political flag? And they said, well, I hope it's not for Biden, because you're not going to find any around here. So that was promising.
Good sign. Definitely a good sign. Well, I thank you for the call. I got a lot more on the line.
Thank you, ABL.
No problem.
All right. Have a good night.
Same to you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, that's a good sign that you don't have the Trump flags out there where you at. Yeah, you're in a pretty good area. But yeah, if you're coming down here where I live, Tennessee, you coming to Texas, you coming into Florida, you coming somewhere from these liberal places, do not vote the same way you did where you were up there if you are kind of left leaning or a stomp down liberal, because people don't understand. People that are fleeing, that are liberal and vote liberal, they don't understand that the way they vote is the reason why their place where they left is like that. They don't get it. And then they do the same thing in a new place, and they got the same complaints. It's like, all right, let's just, rub some brain cells together and figure out what's happening here. All right, let's get to the next call. 602, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My name's Charles.
All right, man, what's going on?
How's it going?
Everything's good. I got a little bit of background noise. Turn speakers on the background for me, boss.
Oh, are we live right now?
We're live right now. Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. How's it going, man?
Everything's good, but I got background. I have background noise.
Is it better now?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I got a couple of things. I mean, I was going to be a medical student, but a lot of this is really having me reconsider it. And I've had a lot of time to just sit and think and look, and there's been a lot of data. So I haven't been able to talk to a lot of people. So it's cool to be able to do some of this. And it's cool that some people are finally critically looking at some of these numbers and saying, wow, it's only 6% of all of the deaths are, without comorbidities.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a really important thing, because we got to understand what these numbers are actually, what they're about. And I think we need to get a better view of what the comorbidities are. And that pretty much tell you who's at risk for it and who should kind of stay away, wear a mask, and who shouldn't. maybe if you're not morbidly obese, maybe if you don't chain smoke all day, maybe you shouldn't be at your house just quarantining. You're not really helping anything.
Yeah, well, actually, there's some indications that smoking and nicotine is actually a preventative measure.
Really?
And I think there's some things that people don't really talk about. And I've talked to my parents and I've said, hey, look, if you get diagnosed with COVID and it's very early in the symptoms, go get some nicotine gum and introduce that earlier on. I think that we hear about a lot of the extremes, which is when people are ending up in the hospital, when people are dying and whatnot, but a lot of people are getting infected and a lot of people are transmitting it, and we're not really hearing about that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
So they treat all masks as equal, and I think that that's a big mistake. I think it's important to be like, hey guys, an N95 mask, these are kind of the best, and this is how we can seal them up and whatnot. And then I also think it's important to talk too, like they talk about asymptomatic spreaders, and I think that like an average American can interpret that as like this person has absolutely zero symptoms and they're spreading it. But I think that that's kind of a misnomer. Asymptomatic is really just means like they haven't identified symptoms, they haven't been diagnosed yet, but all of these people are kind of have, slightly above 100 degrees, and they're either coughing or, they're sneezing to force the virus out.
Okay.
So, like, for example, I have a really sensitive thermometer, and every time I see a friend or whatever, like, I put it up to their head and I scan them. And, if they're above 100 degrees, for example, I'm like, okay, it's possible that you could infect me. But I truly believe that, if someone's under 100 degrees, I'm not really at risk of infection. And some of the things they don't talk about that are actually really relevant to, like, humans and people day to day is, like, how do you identify who to stay away from? How do you clean your hands? What we actually can do.
Right.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'm kind of ranting.
No, I mean, I think that we need to look at things from a more common sense perspective and figure out what's really going on and approach it from not so much like an hysterical sense. I feel like some people are just quarantining because they don't want to get it, think they're going to die instantly, but let's just take a little bit of a break and look at things in a realistic way and approach it from that direction, because what's happening in some places is just too much. They've been quarantining for months, things are shut down. You have entire ghost cities like New York City, San Francisco. It's just too much. We're going over the top with the reaction. Look at things from a more realistic point of view.
And I've got like a mom who's 56 years old, but she doesn't have any comorbidities. But I tell her, I say, like, Mom, stay healthy and do all of those things too, because like you've got a good prognosis with all of these things, and how it will hit you is like, if you stay up for 2 or 3 nights, and you're really tired or you're hungover or you have another disease and you catch yourself off guard, like that's how someone like you is actually going to get really sick. And,
right.
People thinking, oh, if I put on a mask, I'm ultimately covered like it's a condom. It's like, no, it's, if people are shouting and they're yelling and they're people that are producing, it's like, you guys got to stay away from them. And, if you could possibly do it, you got to do your best not to infect other people. But I think like I'd love to talk to you about some of this stuff another time too, because, I have so much. But, if people could really learn, and while we plan for pandemics in the future and we can teach kids, like, look, when it's pandemic time, you do these hygiene things and it really just can't spread like we're scared of it, like doing.
Right. I'm with you, man. But hey, thank you for
thoughts?
I'm sorry, I get to the next call, but I'm with you, man. I'm agreeing with what you're saying. We got to look at things from a realistic point of view and just take some steps to get back, because what we're doing right now in some parts of the country just is not really working out too well. But thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, all right. Take care. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let's get to the next one here. All right, and thank you all for being here yet again. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, my goodness. Getting through to you is like hitting the lotto. It's Sonia, because we all got stuff to get off our chest.
I hear you. I'm right there with you.
Listen, I got to talk to the parents in your audience, because if you don't have small kids or your kids are grown, consider yourself blessed, because you are pissed off otherwise. I'm thinking that this homeschooling is a blessing in disguise if you're able to do it, because guess what's coming to a classroom near you? I saw people sharing pictures of this whole, and it was just one example of these pamphlets and other reading materials. Basically, it's BLM curriculum. Mm. And I think one of them said on the cover, it was like a lesson on anti-blackness and colorism, which threw me off. Because I thought, anti-blackness, that's an interesting term. So now it's not about white privilege, it's about people being anti-black?
Right. So it's like, where are we going with this? What exactly is happening here? We shouldn't be talking about this in school anyway.
I think that it's a way of highlighting our differences and making kids notice things that they wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Just like when you do the videos about the cartoons and how they're talking about it and bringing attention to it, and it's like all of a sudden your kid's going to see the other kid is another color when before he just thought of it like crayons and didn't think anything of it, you know? Right. I mean, it's a fact, you can see it, but it wasn't anything like, it wasn't racism, basically. But now we're going to teach them about racism in a way that I think makes them racist. And then I wanted to know your opinion. If Trump were to win this election, do you think that we'll do anything with all these woke studies they're bringing into the schoolroom?
Well, I think that might be more of a state-to-state issue. Now, I'm not sure what can be done on the federal level. Hopefully something can be done, because I feel like some of these lessons are creeping into the category of inappropriate for children. You know, it could even be considered dangerous and or abusive. So maybe there could be something done from a federal level to prevent that from going on. But that's mostly the state type issue.
Because that's like a ray of hope that I'm banking on, and I'm thinking, why do I assume if Trump wins, this is going to go away in that regard? Because we all know, we hear that the colleges, you know, that they are the breeding ground or the training ground for the liberal ideas or whatever. But now it's the elementary school, and younger and younger and younger. So I'm wondering if it'll go away if Trump gets elected, if it's only just something they're saying now because they think Biden's going to win, or it doesn't even matter. I don't know. It's a bit scary.
Yeah, I hear you.
To think about.
Yeah.
And then moving on, you know how they say that, you know, Trump is a Nazi, he's this, he's that, he's a dictator. And I'm thinking, if he was really a dictator, could they have a book in one of the bookstores? Because, you know, since I'm a parent, and I see all these different posts. And it was basically in a real bookstore, I think for SUNY, in New York State. And it's a picture of Trump, but he's a pig, a cartoon. And the title of the book says, When a Pig is in the White House.
Wow.
And that's a school book for kids. And I'm thinking, if this was Korea, do you think that book would even be on the shelf?
Nah. That's crazy.
So if we did have a dictator, how could a book like that even exist?
Right, exactly.
And then the other thing, speaking of books, someone else had shared that the NPR published a book, and it looked like there was a he, she on the cover. No offense, I couldn't tell what he was. About how looting actually helps businesses. That's what the book is about. How looting helps businesses by NPR.
Wow. Now, is that a children's book? Like, what is that?
No, this one is a grown adults book. And one of the things that, since I'm throwing all these things at you, I wanted to know, what is the best place to send you stuff like that in case you want to do videos on it? How do your viewers send you that info or links or whatever? Is it through Facebook or? The
best thing is my email, because I'm able to get it straight to my phone. I can go through it. I can highlight it. You know, so that's the best place. Yeah. Now.
And that's on the YouTube About page. It'll be there.
It should be there, and also on my website, anthonyblogan.com. Yeah, everything is right there on the website, on the contact page.
Okay. And then speaking still on the kids, you know how they're saying that this boy, Kyle, he wasn't supposed to have a gun. He was 17. He shouldn't be old enough to carry a gun, yada, yada, yada. But when you're 12 years old, you can get hormone treatments if you want to be a boy or a girl or whatever you decide. It doesn't make any sense.
That's a contradiction. That's a big contradiction. They're talking about kids that's, like 5 years old? Like I covered a story about this man named James Younger, in Texas who is in a custody battle right now with his ex-wife, who's a pediatrician.
I refused to see that video. I knew you did it because I just couldn't stand to see it, to hear that they would force the boy because the mom wants to make him a girl.
Yeah, and this all started when the boy was like 5 years old at the latest. It could have been earlier than that. So how can the 5-year-old boy know if he wants to be a girl or a boy? He doesn't know really what being a boy is yet at that age. He's just being a boy. No. He doesn't understand the concept of it at that age. It's impossible.
Yeah, I have a son, so I couldn't see that one because it hits too close to home. But I'm thinking, even if my son told me he wanted to be a girl, let's just pretend. I'm not going to dress him like a little girl, like he's a doll, right? He's not for display. He's a human being. It's a matter that needs to be handled carefully, delicately, and not publicly. So I don't know why they go along with this nonsense and encourage it. I think I saw Jericho Green. He said, "You say, no, son, you're not a boy. You're
right.
You're not a girl. You're a boy."
When I was a boy, I wanted to be a Power Ranger, a Ninja Turtle, an X-Man. But that doesn't mean I can just put on an X-Men costume at school and be like, "Hey, my name is Cyclops. Call me Cyclops." No, that's not how it works. I'm a little boy, and I just don't understand what's going on. That's the way that kids should be treated, not forced on the path that they might regret. They might get to be 21 years old and hate their mother and their father for allowing them to do that and not raising them properly.
Yeah, and I have a friend, her kids are grown now, but I know she's been brainwashed by the liberalism because she says that now that her kids are grown, easy to say, that she thinks they should be able to decide their gender. So I thought she was nuts when she said that. But you know one other thing that she says, that if I hear it one more time, when they want to put Trump down, they'll say that comment that he made, grab him by the you-know-what.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the same people who bring that up, that he said that, as if, Clinton didn't do his thing and JFK didn't do his thing, and we all know Kamala even did her thing. The same people who bring that up about Trump and him having an affair, what have you, which I really don't care about any of them. If that was the case, I care about the policies, are the same people who make fun of Pence for being straight-laced. They said that he has to have his wife everywhere he goes, or she has to be with him in a room if he's with another woman. I don't know if that's true, but they put him down for being like upstanding in that way. But then, they make fun of him for being that way. But then they want to call Trump, a cheater or what have you. Which is it? You want them to be straight-laced, or you want them to be, it's hypocritical.
Right, exactly.
That's the bottom line. And the last thing before I go, I went onto the BLM website and I followed the links that they they give you to find out how the money is being spent. You got to send them an email. I request it. I'm still waiting. I don't know how long that takes. And I want to know if any of your followers have ever tried, and if not, if everybody could go on BLM and email them and see if anybody ever gets that info back that says where they're spending the money, because we're supposed to be entitled to that information, and I don't know who has it. I know about the Act Blue, but they're supposed to give you some kind of report. Anybody ever got their hands on it? That's all I want to know.
I've not seen anything like that, but hey, I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, you're welcome. Take care.
All right, now.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's get to the next one here. Let's go. Okay. 630, your line was 630. Can you hear me? Or caller?
Hey, ABL.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I hear you well.
Sorry about the background noise. Well, just calling. I heard the lady that was on earlier. I've been trying to get on. Thank God I got on. But first of all, just want to say keep up the good work. Trying to speed it up here. So I was at my daughter's online class, and I noticed language arts, reading, writing, stuff like that. And they're like, this is going to be the curricular activity, stuff that you can, I videotaped it and recorded it. It's talking about, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, ABCD community, white privilege, police brutality, COVID-19 vaccine. I'm like, what does this have to do with the presidential? What does this have to do with language arts? Talk about the presidential election. Just last Wednesday, it's What's Going On in the World Wednesday. They have a whole discussion about what's going on in the world, this, that, transgenders, Black Lives Matter, this, that. Like, what does this have to do with math? So I called up to the school. They're like, oh, well, this is just they're trying to get the kids in tune with what's going on with the world. It's crazy. It is super, super, super crazy. I'm a little upset personally. My wife is upset, and yeah, man, I don't know what else to say. Did you see that video about the gentleman who got hit in the head with the brick?
I saw that.
The young black kid.
Yeah.
That was crazy too. For what reason? And the man looked elderly to me personally. I mean, he looked like he was an elderly white man. And if you're going to fight somebody, at least fight somebody your own size, and at least confront them face to face. ABL, I just had my son, and we watched you on Saturday when my wife was giving birth.
Congrats, man! Congratulations.
Yeah. Going to raise all conservatives, man. All conservatives. I didn't want to take up your time, man. Just wanted to hear your thoughts about the whole school thing and them, trying to slip in these little side little things, and they make it real slick too. They make it like it's part of the activity. My daughter comes to me and tells me, like, I don't want to participate in this. Hey, I don't feel this way. She was kind of upset. She was upset about the 5-year-old boy who got shot in the head, and the teacher kind of dismissed it. She's like, oh, well, if I'm just dismissed, I don't want to participate in it. If I can't say my point of view. So, yeah. But I don't want to keep you. You got a lot of calls, man. I'm from Illinois. We stand with you. We stand with President Trump. We support you. And God bless Trump 2020, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. And again, I thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience on the internets. Let's get to the next one. Let's go. All right. 7042, you know the line, who am I speaking to? 704, who am I speaking to? Going once, going twice. All right, call. You got to be ready. You got to have your. If you're calling in for the first time, you got to have your ear to the phone prepared to answer, because there is a lag on the stream. You would not be able to line up the call with the stream. It's impossible. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, calling on the line, 662, who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, what's going on, man? You're speaking to Jake. How are you?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
All right. Well, hey, great. Let's talk about a couple of things. Since you're in East Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee has had 202 murders, 24 of which have been children this year. It's ridiculous. And so we have a huge violence problem in our inner cities. And I think since so much of the conversations have been on education tonight, we need to talk about, as conservatives, establishing 3 directions from high school: college, the military, and home ownership by 21 through internships. I think those are the 3 directions we need to start sending our children to, so that they have skin in the game. And we've got to find some way to combat this violence. And I think home ownership by 21 is a reasonable goal. How do you feel?
That might be a little bit, that could be a little bit rough depending upon where you are, because if you're living in California, that's impossible. California, the real estate out there, you're talking about $500,000 might get you an abandoned building in the ghetto, but if you're living out in Tennessee, especially not necessarily in Nashville or something like that, you can do that. It really just depends on where you are. It's kind of a financial thing. I think the main thing would be just having the concept of money and home ownership and doing the things in society that will help you succeed, aside from just what you learn in school. What you learn in school might not necessarily be all of what you need to know. Learn some of these life skills that you are going to have, learn those, and then that can help you succeed better. And also understand how to implement these skills rather than just having kind of useless information. Understand how to implement it. I think that can help a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I think the corporate environment through internship programs needs to reach more out to the high school level and start recruiting earlier, and build on these skills that they've learned, or practical knowledge that they've learned in school, supposedly have learned, and start implementing it And then also, if you have a program through the corporation that's like, hey, we want you to work through this, be a homeowner by 21, and just start out of the gate learning how to manage money. And I think that's a great idea that needs to be built off of. But it is really sad how our inner cities are just falling apart to gang violence, and 24 children in Memphis, Tennessee is just horrible, ABL. And I know you feel that pain too.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, that's definitely a tragedy.
Okay. One other thing, so we'll get back on the politics real quick, and we'll talk about Trump for a minute. A lot of people get confused what Trump does. He does the exact same thing over and over and over again. It's the crying baby syndrome. When he wants to make a deal, he goes to the kitchen and he starts breaking dishes until somebody just throws their hands up, hey, what's wrong, until he has their attention. And if they're not listening, he keeps breaking dishes. And eventually he gets them to the table and gets the deal he wants, because everybody wants to quieten down the baby, especially one that has power.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the basic, that he does the exact same thing through every deal he ever made. So if you'll go back and you'll watch, you'll think about it. Or if you'll hear something outrageous like, we want to postpone the election, it's to get your attention towards mail-in ballots. So that's just how he raises attention about it. And the liberal media and liberals get all caught up in the smoke, and they don't really understand where his direction is going. And I think if you pay attention, you'll see that repeated every single time. But ABL, thanks for taking my phone call. Have a great night. Always enjoy your show.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let's get to the next call here. Let's go. 334, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey.
Yes, 334. Who am I speaking to?
This is Sub-Zero 3639, brother. What's going on?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Ain't nothing, man. You know me and you we done went at it a bunch of times, but I had to call you to get on to you, ABL, because I saw that debate with that liberal, that Anthony, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And there were a few points, brother, that you really could have just destroyed him real nice and smooth. I think you did a good job. I'm just saying, I honestly believe when he made that point about average educated black woman with a master's degree earns about as much as a high school, a white man with a high school diploma, the first thing you can go into is what are those masters in? Because if you look at it, I think it's like 70% of master's degrees that black people obtain are in the lowest paying fields of, I think 70% of them were education. When you talk about when we graduate high school, only 48% are able to read, or 48% can't read at a basic level. So these are factors that will affect. I don't think that it means that we are inferior or can't function. I think it just shows a lack of effort. And so that really would destroy that whole case he was trying to build, that it's just racism. Like she's coming in there with a master's degree in computer engineering or something and can't find a job. That's a lie. I run an IT academy. That's not what happens. If you just go look up the average time a person spends per night studying, that and break it down by race, what you'll find even in that is that black people spend 27 minutes, whites spend 57, and Asians spend 127 minutes. So, and you see this, these are just patterns. And the person that brought this to me was Thomas Sowell, bringing out certain inconvenient information. The percentage of black kids that are college ready in the main core courses of English, math, different things like that, you're looking at about 14%. So these are things that will affect, and like I said, that 48% that can't read at a basic level, that's a person who's probably going to wind up thinking they're oppressed, because in not understanding that, you're going to feel oppressed. You can't even read at a basic level. And I think when you can't read, that doesn't speak to education. That speaks to lack of effort and parenting first. These are just inconvenient things that if you were to bring, not you, but if one were to bring these up I've done this and debated people, and they just haven't had any real argument for real facts when you just look at the lack of effort. And when you're not trying, it doesn't mean, because a lot of people saying, when I get called names, I get called coon, sellout, Uncle Tom when I bring this up. Like, well, these are just facts, inconvenient as they may be. Now, you can do something about it, but to just say that someone is just not, when that guy made that point, I wish he had said that to me. But of course, I wasn't on television. But I wish I could. When people make those points, I love it because I've had people make those points and they don't have a comeback when you start looking at the data as to, okay, how many of us can read? How many of you are proficient at math? How many of you are college ready? How many minutes a night do you spend studying? What are your majors? In 2017, there wasn't one black PhD given in a STEM science in the whole United States.
Wow.
So that means that, look, I'm black, man. I'm not trying to say this. I want what's best for my people. You know what space of YouTube I'm from.
Yeah.
Me and you, we done had a few run-ins a couple of times.
Yes.
But I am a black conservative, and I do want Trump to win. And I just think that when it comes to the systemic racism, systemic oppression argument, it is weak, it is flimsy, and rarely will you find someone who has took the time to go and look up the information and data which explains why you feel oppressed. You're gonna feel oppressed when you can't read. You're gonna feel oppressed when you can't do math. And then you're gonna blame the education system. You're gonna blame this. But there was a study, they took some Asian kids and they were in a failing system one time. The Asian kids were still getting Ivy League scholarships out of failing schools. You know why? They were putting 2 and 3 hours in a night on average. That's what they do. They study 2 hours a night. When you look at the racial wealth gap, there's another example. Well, you got the racial wealth gap. Black people invest the least amount. If you give a black person a 6-figure job and a person from another race, they're going to invest the least amount. The stock market is at all-time highs. Who's getting richer? If you put 1% in your 401k or your mutual funds and your other white, Asian, and Hispanic people are putting more in there, they're going to make more wealth. So over time, they're going to be wealthier. So I think the culmination of choosing wrong degrees, I have to say it, apathy and laziness in academics in high school, choosing the wrong major, not investing, this looks like systemic oppression. So when I hear someone say that the system is designed for me to fail, I struggle with that because I'm the person that got out of high school with a 15 on ACT. And I was lazy. I was chasing girls in basketball, telling the truth. I had a 1.9 GPA, but I still was made. I went to high school, and when I was in high school, I was taking calculus and trigonometry. So I was able to go right into college, and I was able to make it. But on average, most of us just are lazy academically, and that hurts us. It's a culture thing. I think one of the biggest issues we face is culture. It's not systemic oppression. Is we will go certain things we just do not see. There's a blind spot, and so when you're debating someone like that, they're never going to be able to see that until you just bring the facts and just hit them back. Like what's his name? The guy, the Jewish guy. I came from
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. You see him when he gets in a debate. He gets them the fact after fact after fact after fact, and it's hard for them to come back. Not because you're trying to win the debate, but it makes it very difficult for them to paint a legitimate argument when you're laying out, look, man, you're spending 27 minutes a night. The white man who you say got his foot on your neck is out working you. He's spending 57 minutes a night studying. Why is it that if you are behind enemy lines and you're oppressed and the white man has his foot on your neck, why do you spend 27 minutes a night doing homework? And then they'll say, well, that's failing schools. I'm like, you could be in a school with all white principal, all black superintendent, principal, everything. You still won't work as hard. This is just, and I'm not trying to say this, I'm black. I mean, it's not good. It's disheartening for me to say this, but I think these types of things need to be brought out in these discussions because what happens is they just want to feel oppressed. You just want to feel oppressed, and you want to talk about half of it, but you don't want to swing it back and say, well, really about 85, 90% of what you think is oppression is really just your laziness. It's really just that you chose the wrong major. You got out of school. Like when you talk about black wealth, black women are the most educated, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about wealth. Well, you go to college, you get a degree that pays $40,000 a year as a school teacher, right? You got out of school $160,000 worth of debt. So while you're the most educated, this is why they have the lowest net worth. You're really getting killed going to these colleges when you're choosing sociology for a major, and then you want to talk about you don't have any wealth. Well, yeah, the school is outpacing healthcare. Colleges. So, I mean, you're going to get out with $200,000, $150,000 worth of debt, and you're not going to be able to maintain versus someone who, you know, went to, let's say, Stanford. And, you know, like I run an IT academy. I have students that get into IT. But I tell my students, I say, you know, when they started, like he was talking about, the guy used to debate, he said, Microsoft. Look, man, in order to even get in those spaces with Bill Gates grew up around he had access to a computer as a kid, which most people didn't. Bill Gates was highly brilliant. Also, when you want to talk about the people, Sergey Brin that founded Google, the guys that founded YouTube, these people were in Stanford in the master's program. Just to even get in the master's program at Stanford, you probably need to study more than 27 minutes a night. If you don't, because number one, you're going to have to like math, because most universities and computers want you to have math as a requirement. Well, you can't do math doing 27 minutes a night, obviously. So you're going to choose criminal justice for a major. You're not even going to be in those spaces. That's not racism. You didn't bust your ass. You didn't get out there and put the feet to the ground and go after what you wanted. So my thing is, when people talk about systemic oppression and racism and stuff like that, you better have left no stone unturned to get where you're trying to go. I hate to hear people talk about systemic oppression and they haven't laid it all out there as to what they want. I'm right
there with you, man. Hey, it's been good, but I got a lot of calls on online. Hey, you pretty
my bad.
Nah, you good, man. You killed it, man. I appreciate the call for sure, man. You got to come back sometime, man, for sure.
All right, bet.
All right, now take care.
All right, bro.
All right, shout out to the caller. That's Sub-Zero from YouTube. Yeah, we go back a long way because he would be on like a lot of the O'Shea Duke Jackson panels with me, and he has his own channel. Sub-Zero, if you're in the chat, man, put your YouTube link down there. I don't know what the exact numbers after your name are, but yeah, good YouTuber, real smart guy, real smart with math, and he's right. If you're not putting the appropriate amount of time into what you're doing, if you're just barely getting your work done, not even really doing your homework. Meanwhile, the Asian kids over here, he's working like he's at a job already. He's drinking coffee in the morning, like he's getting up in the morning, drinking coffee like he's about to go to work, like 35 years old, but he's 12 years old. You understand what I'm saying? He's going hard. Meanwhile, we're in the hood with the same resources they have, wanting to play basketball, wanting to chase girls, just wanting to have fun. But life ain't all fun and games. All right, you got to get ready. And especially if you're in America, you got to get ready for that grind. You got to get ready for the competition that's going to be out there that's facing you when you get to be an adult. You got to be ready. You got to be prepared. And a lot of these people that grow up and graduate high school can barely read. So if you can barely read, you're already behind. You're lucky if you get a 6-figure job at all. You might be some kind of savant that has skills in other places or get lucky. But if you can't read, I mean, you're pretty much toast. Now, if you can't read and you don't have natural math skills that can be kind of cultivated, what do you have? You don't really have skills. If you go and get a master's in something that doesn't really matter, then you can't compare yourself to a guy that has been preparing for a long time. Just like with kids, when they go to kindergarten, first grade, but they already had been learning how to read and write and count to 10 and everything else and color within the lines and draw before they got to be 5 years old. When their mother was reading to them when they were in the womb, and you're 6 years old, you can't read, write, or anything at all, and you're in kindergarten, you're not really going to be able to catch up generally. Maybe it's possible, for the most part, it's not, unfortunately. It is what it is. All right, yeah, there we go, Sub-Zero3639, that's my man. So I'm going to put his YouTube in the chat, and then I'm going to get to the next call. All right, caller, who do we have?
Oh, yeah, this is the King or the King, James Braun, and I want to say, congratulations to my biggest hater, ABL. And why ain't you watching the Miami Heat game? all of you. We need some spectators.
I'm good, man. I'm good, but you know, I have no real reason to watch the games right now. I'm just doing my thing, and I think that this whole BLM movement has kind of turned a lot of us off from sports, so we're just not really into it.
Hey, does the L in ABL stand for leech? Because you leech and viewers from us.
Hey, it's not my fault. You know, if you tighten your game up, maybe we watch.
All right. Well, what else is going on tonight?
Everything's good, man. We're just talking about a few different things, talking about what's happening right now in the world, talking about the sports, and also education, indoctrinating kids, making them go a different direction other than what they should, disobeying their parents and whatnot.
Sports. Yeah, I know a lot about sports. That's when you get multi-million-dollar contracts and get to talk to other people how to change their lives and educate them about the way the world really is, isn't it?
Nah, that's not what sports supposed to be. Sports supposed to be, just entertainment, having a good time, watching competition. It's not about trying to get educated at all.
I don't think you understand it the right way, ABL. I mean, how many shoe contracts do you got?
Hey, you know what?
Exactly.
I don't. Yeah, I can't do nothing with it, man. You're right. I'm totally wrong over here.
Yeah, you got to understand, man. America is the worst country ever, right? Because think about it. We have all of these teams and all of these cities, and all of those cities seem to be completely falling apart, even though they keep paying hundreds of millions of dollars to people like my boss, Jerry Buss, in order to build new arenas, in order to have people like me play in front of people like you for hundreds of dollars, while your kids can barely even get a decent education in schools that are closed because people like me are in a bubble, because people like you can't go outside and get a haircut, because people like me have to tell you how to vote because you don't know how to vote, because people like me are educated even though you went to school. Anyway, you get the idea.
No, I'm right there with you. And didn't Jerry Buss, didn't he die? Isn't the daughter running it?
Whatever, women, running the team. They ain't gonna tell me what to do.
Right. Oh, I can't tell.
Wait, you know what? Can you what's it called? Can you dump that? I don't know. This is the radio, right?
Yeah, but we're live on the air right now, so I can't edit anything. If it's out there, it's out there.
Hit the dump button.
That's not how it works, sir.
Anyway, next topic. So, that we have all of this awful division in this country, and I know you're expecting me to blame it on one person, and that person is Lance Stevenson of the Charlotte Hornets, who still all the time dogs me and tries to get on my nerves and everything like that. And I just want to say, Lance, we're going to beat you in November, right?
Lance Stevenson?
Yes, Lance Stevenson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know he was still playing, but hey, it's all good.
Anyway, y'all ain't got no questions for me. I'm trying to educate the rest of the world, because the people of Ohio aren't educated enough to vote for the right person. And Daryl Morey ain't educated enough to comment on communist regimes that are throwing people in jail just for having the wrong thing on their T-shirt.
Isn't that what China is doing?
What is this? I got buttons too here. I got a report button right on my wristband over here and on my headband.
Hey, I thought that that China's doing all those things. So how you feel about China? Like, are they a China?
Dumb button. Anyway, I gotta go, ABL.
All right. Well, I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night and congratulations. Hope you have a great life with the new woman, the new wife.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Good night.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, that was LeBron, or they claim to be LeBron. I can't verify that. I can't confirm or deny who that was, but it is what it is. So shout out to my man for the call. And thank y'all again for being here. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. And we got a few more calls before the night is over. All right, caller, who am I speaking to?
Hey, man.
What's going on?
Not much. How you been? I wanted to respond to Sub-Zero's comments earlier.
Alrighty.
I thought those were really good. It's right on point. And it just made me kind of think, what's the culture about, right? What kind of culture are we setting up where we can educate and learn? Because education, you were saying basically somebody's like been reading to their kids from the womb, right?
Oh yeah, from the womb. That was my mom. Like, she read to me from the womb, and then all throughout when I was a kid. Because when I was young, my parents were still married. They were high school sweethearts, been married for like 10, 14 years. But
that's great.
But yeah, before they got divorced, my mom would stay at home, and then she would read to me all that kind of stuff before I went to school. So when I got to be in pre-K kindergarten, I'm already way ahead of all the kids because I had the early preparation, and I took that with me and I carried it all throughout my life. So getting straight A's and whatnot was easy. I was prepared and already had a good work ethic that I developed.
Yeah, that background of knowing how to read, like even before you get into school, and having the desire to read. And I mean, it's tough starting, of course. Everybody thinks so, nobody really likes to study until you find out what you can learn there. And that step-by-step thing. And I'm wondering, because my wife is Japanese, right? Mm-hmm. And man, does she push the kids like crazy.
You got to do it. You got to do it. And the thing is, some are going to say, oh, well, it's a poverty thing. Nah, because we came from West Virginia. West Virginia, one of the poorest states in the Union, okay? Yeah. When we came to Virginia, my dad had a single wide trailer, all right? A single wide with dad, mama, me, and I was an infant. And then when I was a kid still, we're still in the ghetto. We're in a trailer park doing this. So this it's not even about poverty. It's about just having the work ethic. Anybody can go to the library, read a book. That's what you got to really focus on.
Yeah, Thomas Sowell was talking about that. He grew up and got thrust into this neighborhood where, reading wasn't great, but he met this guy who took him to the library and basically introduced him to books and stuff. I'm from the mountains in North Carolina, man. I mean, yeah, it can't be about poverty. On the other hand, if your mom is working all the time to pay the bills, that does make it hard.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody around that can introduce you to what that is. On the other hand, the kind of stuff that we learn in schools these days, I mean, I went to school. My mom was English teacher. My grandmother was Latin, and I had to study some Greek and stuff. But you go to school nowadays and you learn the classics, and they're not classics. They're these, French Enlightenment. None of it's objective. It's all subjective. All your thought. You're reading. I understand that some John Steinbeck might be considered classics and stuff, but they have you read Catcher in the Rye, and that's just a boy rebelling. That's not classics. When you're going through school and you want to make something in life, you have to read as far back as they go. I mean, Plato, Aristotle, and even if it's in English, obviously, learning these classics and stuff and what people thought before. And if there's liberal thought, if there's new thought that needs to be done, you have to understand the old thoughts first. And then you get to university, and these guys are like, yeah, okay, I'm going to study this. And it's, what was Sub-Zero saying? Somebody was studying like psychology or
physical therapy, something that
yeah, right. You can go to school and you can come out with a great degree, but if it's not in something that is worthwhile, it's not going to make money,
right?
And you're not going to really get out of that loop.
And you're not going to be able to compete with those that have a master's or some other kind of high degree with a more strenuous program. If somebody has a master's and they are majoring in some type of biochemistry or something like that, they're going to have a totally different life than you are. That's just what it is.
That's exactly right. And there's this YouTuber, I think his name, he's called Don't Walk Run
Don't Walk Run. Shout out to him.
Yeah. He's really got a good angle on analyzing this stuff in the pay gap thing. And he's like, look, you want to go to school and study physical therapy, you're not going to come out with a salary that is, equivalent to somebody who studied astrophysics. Well, actually, that's not going to come out very well if somebody's, wants to study like finance or something and be a banker. But education's got to be continuous. It's got to be ongoing your whole life. I mean, I graduated in 96 and I'm still learning.
Right. I'm with you, man.
I wouldn't know how to do half the stuff I got to do at the job.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's always good talking to you, man. I've been missing a couple of weeks here and been missing some news. You said this Pelosi setup. What is that? What is this about?
Just real quick, she went to a salon in San Francisco that was closed and got her hair done, and it was recorded, like her being there without a mask on. It was recorded and then put out to the media by the owner because she was mad because it was a booth renter that let Pelosi in, not the owner. The owner didn't know about it and found out later. So the owner put it out, and then Pelosi was like, hey, they told me I could come in there. They said it was one person that was allowed in, so they should apologize to me for setting me up.
What?
Yes, that's what she said.
What?
It's on my Instagram page. You can hear it for your own. I have the video of her in the salon and also the video of her saying that I was set up, apologizing to me. It was crazy. Now, and then the thing about it is she's a lawmaker in that district, so she should know what's going on. And her nephew, Gavin Newsom, is the governor, so she should know the law. So you can't say you were set up. Just like Marion Barry back in the day in D.C. getting caught in a room smoking crack, talking about, oh, I was set up. Well, you know you can't smoke crack, sir. So let's not play that game.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You want to tell everybody else they got to do it. You got to abide by it as well.
That's right. 100% correct.
It just cracks me up. Like, I keep seeing all these people complaining about, how many times Trump has incited violence or something. And somebody put up a cut of all these Democrat, mayors and governors and Nancy Pelosi and everybody that was just like, I'm going to light them on fire. I'm going to blow the building. I'm going to do all this crazy stuff. And it was like cut after cut after cut. And I just kept thinking, you can't complain about somebody else if you're doing the same thing. It's just hypocrisy, and people see right through it. Unfortunately, the media won't cover everything, and some people, they just don't take the time to go looking through the information, what's out there. They only see what CNN shows them.
That's right, man. 100% correct. Well, hey, I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I'll let you get back to other folks. It's always good talking to you.
All right, man. Likewise.
All right. See ya.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. And let's get to the next one here. 604, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yeah, so who am I speaking to? 604.
Yeah, this is Troy.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, so, yeah, I heard about all this talk about that Pelosi is like, and all this rioting that's going on in different set of cities, and yeah, I just like, why are these Democrats allowing it to happen when there's clearly shown that they're A, dangerous, and B, are willing to loot, murder, and probably destroy a lot of properties.
Well, I think that they understand that these people that are out there are their enforcement arm, so they can galvanize these people to go out here and maybe hurt some of us or to damage some of us. And they know that, they're going to want to be, they're anti-Trump. So it's kind of like the enemy of my enemy, that type of thing. And they don't want to do anything to hurt them or to disrespect them or go against them. That's their base.
Right. Right. But it's just like, if I were if I was forced to be a Democrat, I would probably like, hey, guys, you mind taking an out? Because, well, at least arrest them, because I know for sure that while I may not be a fan of the Trump, I also know that I have to make sure that I had to keep the citizens safe and sound. And if I were to see riots going on, I'll be going to tell the cops here to go put an end to this now, because I don't want a huge riot going around in my city. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, the general public does not want that. But see, the political people, they may want to have these people kind of in their back pocket to activate them when necessary.
Right. But it's like, doesn't that also make you feel like you're a like, doesn't that make the people think that you're encouraging all this violence? Because it kind of makes people more willing to vote for Trump rather than to go vote for the Democrats. Because it's kind of like an idiotic move when you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it is dumb, and you would think that some people would want to go out there and vote Trump instead of voting for a Joe Biden because of what's going on. But some people don't think that way. They think that this is Trump's fault. And because they want to believe in the Democrats and whatever they say. So if you have Joe Biden go on TV and say, hey, it's Trump's fault, he did it, and it's not my fault, then they might just believe it, although it's ridiculous. But people are crazy. Just like I was watching the videos today. And this is how much the media have brainwashed people. There was a guy that got shot out there in Bronx, New York, and the police were out there trying to help him. But the police didn't shoot him. He got shot by somebody else, and they came to the scene to give him some aid. People were surrounding the officers talking about wear your masks. They were mad because they didn't have their masks on. But it's like, wait a minute, this guy is on the ground shot and they're trying to save his life. You're worried about masks? That's the mentality of these people. So when they come out and hear Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi say it's Trump's fault, they might just believe it because they're so brainwashed and they don't even understand what's going on beyond that.
Yeah, that's usually like the big problem that I always tend to hear is like, it's always his fault. Like, oh, like Trump is going making things worse. Like he's saying armed force to stop the rise. Like he's making things worse. And it's like, no, it's because of you guys who's been encouraging this stuff to go on. It's maybe if you were to stop the riot from going on, maybe people were willing to go and support you guys and stopping it. But because you guys just supported the violence, you're just pushing people away to support Trump.
Right, exactly. You're right, 100%.
Yeah. There's also one thing that I should share with you, if you don't mind.
All right, go for it.
Yeah. Remember the Pelosi stuff that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, well, there was a similar story that happened a lot earlier over in Canada where I live. Because in Ontario, or Renton, Ontario, the mayor that is known as Patrick Brown was recently caught by breaking his own COVID rules because he wanted to go out and play hockey, but some independent reporters caught him doing that, and like a snake that he is, he just flees from the scenes and, well, doesn't want to talk to the guys. That's for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
and while he doesn't go, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. And while he doesn't play the whole I was being set up game, but he actually did play a different. Yeah, he played a different game. It's like he pretty much lies on Twitter, like saying that it was like an independent. I was like gonna take a look at things. Like I was just here. They just came out of nowhere, and it's like, no, you weren't. They have the evidence of it, and you're just making yourself look like a fool. That's usually the thing. There's also a lot more going on that, if you want, I could share the video to you in your chat if that's what you want.
Well, you can't post links because it won't let you. But send it to my email. That's probably the best way.
Yeah. All right. I'll probably I'll take a look at your website in order to get the email, and I'll send it to you so you can get some more info.
All righty, man. Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, then. Bye.
All right, now. All right. Shout out to the caller. And that will be it for calls tonight. If you cannot get on, don't blame me. Blame the white man. It's not my fault. All right. Thank y'all again for being here. I got some chance to read right quick, so don't go nowhere. Get you something nice and cold to drink, good to eat. We're going to be here for a little bit, about 15, 20 more minutes while I'm reading super chats. And like the video if you've not liked the video yet. Also, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And This audio will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, all that good stuff. So check out the link in the box below for that. And also, download the Trump 2020 app. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is put your number in there, your phone number in there, and do the verification. And this is straight from the Trump campaign. Again, straight from the Trump campaign, the Trump 2020 app, so you know what's going on straight from the campaign, and you don't rely upon Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, to try and censor and cut up stuff. Get it straight from the proverbial horse's mouth. Again, Trump 2020 app. Link is in the description box below, and also right there on the sidebar beside me. And if you're watching this live or the replay and you see in the chat, it'll be right below you in the chat box. And if you're on an audio streaming platform, I put that link in the actual box itself. You can go check it out there. All right. Super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the end of the show. Again, thank y'all for being here. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show tonight. All right. Thank you to everybody that is watched and everything, donated, whatever you're doing. I appreciate you. And what do we got? Shout out to Steve Klein, who says, "You're awesome, ABL, Trump 2020. US emoji, thank you for that." Thank you to Double O Tyrone, who says, "Give me liberty or give me death. Don't tread on me or my kids, Trump 2020, 100%. Shout out to Catmon40 for a donation. Thank you to Christian23 Allen 35, who says, "Congrats on getting married." Thank you. Shout out to George Bunny, who says, "Hello, ABL. What did you think about plantation weddings?" I don't think it's really a big deal. I mean, if you got a nice area, a nice location, then I'm with it. Shout out to Momo, who says, "Money to get some non-Colin Kaepernick brand flip-flops." And you know what? The reason why I got these flip-flops is because they're cheap. And, you know, they do pretty well. I get them for like $20. And this is my general everyday shoe. I'm not a fancy guy. Like how I'm dressed right now, this is how I dress. I got to put on the suit. I put on the suit, of course. That's a whole different ball of wax. So if I go on TV, if I go travel, I put on the suit. But this is me. I'm comfortable wearing this. This is just how I rock. All right. Let me see. Shout out to, New Wave Bossa Nova for the good luck emoji with the speaker, the loudspeaker. Thank you to Stephanie R, who says, "I'm usually a silent listener. You're amazing. Thank you for that. I appreciate you." Thank you to Jackie Tuckerman for your donation. Thank you to Tacey West for the thank you emoji. Thank you to MKNGGT for your donation. Thank you to Kayla, who says, "Hey, ABL, are you going to invite us all of us in chat to your wedding next year?" I wish. Hey, that number going to get expensive. And I'm asking people, hey, just chip in. You know, I'll be like, "Hey, Dad, let's put a little bit of money on that." But yeah, thank you to Tacey West for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Chris Clem, who says, "Keep up the good work, man. Best word I can think of for your content is refreshing. Much needed after hearing the constant brainwashing narrative coming from mainstream media." Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Mainstream media is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I try to watch it just so I understand what they're talking about. It's hard. It's really like pulling teeth because I'm identifying each time they try to gaslight AstroTurf campaigns. You know, I'm identifying all of what they're doing every single time. It doesn't really matter. Fox News is the best, but they're not even all of that either. Sometimes they kind of, but they're the best one. But watching MS13DNC, MSNBS, MSNPC, whatever they call it, MSCCP, watching that is like pulling teeth. Like no Novocaine, no nothing, just straight out pliers. You know. Anyway, shout out to Abraham, who says, "I'm a libertarian, but Joe Jorgensen's BLM sweet, guaranteed my Trump vote." There you go. Exactly. All right. Shout out to Apron, who says, "Any thoughts on having short appearance guests during live stream? You could do 10 to 15 minute micro guests in the show whenever you look into adding features." I could do that. That's a good recommendation. Thank you to Kathleen Maddox, who said, for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Latino Conservative for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Donnie the Don, who says, "Support at Real Bryson Gray, new music video, Gun Toting Patriot." Yeah, shout out to Bryson. my younger brother for his new music video, Gun Toting Patriot. I love it. I love it. I like the whole MAGA movement and all of what's going on in it. We need that in the country beyond just Trump. Like the whole thing has gone way beyond Trump. We're talking about trying to save a republic. Thank you to Kathleen Maddox, who says, ABL, you bring it. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoy your shows. Thank you for your very kind words. Thank you to Simeon Cave Creature, hilarious name, who says, thanks for supporting people defending themselves. Kyle is all of us when we start feeling threatened. Those of us that refuse to kneel or raise a fist anyway. Exactly. Thank you to Mary Harvey for the donation. Thank you to my man, Coach99, who says, Nancy Pelosi goes on national TV and says, Salon set her up, quote unquote. Her angry mob takes to the internets and leaves thousands of negative Yelp and Google reviews. Now the salon owner says she will close down. Terrible. Thank you to Matthew Richardson, who says, it looks like Cal hit a girl and then hit him. Equal rights for women, equal less too. Maybe. We don't know that yet because we got to, like I said, we got to confirm if that's him. It could be him. I have no idea. Shout out to Simeon Cave Preacher, who says another 5 on it for This Is My Show. And I was talking to Ivan. This is my show. Thank you to Coach99, who says making this donation on behalf of Ivan because you know he always calls in but never supports anyone. Cheapskate for life. Thank you to Sosa Brito, who says ABL Ivan is just practice for your political career in the future. It's all good. Congrats on your marriage. Hashtag Trump 2020. Thank you for that. Thank you to Dapper Dave 527, who says Democrats and Ivan cannot name a single thing that any other person could have done better than the decisions Trump made the start of the pandemic. There you go. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr., who says, ABL, I say Laura Ingraham had a great interview with President Trump. She was able to get some great answers from him. It was great seeing Trump in Kenosha as well. The people loved seeing him there. Yes, 100%. Thank you for that. Thank you to Dennis Toll, who says, I love your shows. I would call, but I'm not sure I could ever get in. Just a vet who likes to see younger people like you get into politics. I grew up during Vietnam. Thank you for that. You know, politics may be my next course of action. People keep saying that, hey, ABL, go to politics, might be my next thing. And like I've said before, people in my family were saying this about me when I was young. Like, I'm talking about a little kid. My uncle said I was called to preach when I was like 8 years old. My aunt saw me in the mall when I was like early 20s. And she thought that I had run for mayor because I was helping my friend become or help him with his campaign in Norfolk. She was like, did you win? I was like, win what? Did you become the mayor? I was like, nah, that's not me running. But she was just putting in my mind then. This is like way long time ago. This had to been like 2009, 2010, long time ago. Shout out to, let me see, Beth Marie Evans, who says, why does Ivan, who speaks rudely, expect Trump to undo the political class mess of decades in one term? Shaking my head. Exactly. Thank you to Linda Flannery for the thank you emoji. Thank you to Bina or Bina, who says, Pelosi's hairdresser is my hero. 1000%. Thank you to ABCDEFGH, who says, just a donation. Thank you Diplomatic Community, who says, greetings and from Support Canada. Thank you. Thank you to Leo Mazzina for your Superman emoji. And thank you to Tori Bastion for your Superman emoji as well. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to Matthew Phillips, who says that father should be vigilant because one day her school's communist teachers will make her parade the city with a hammer and a sickle. Facts. Thank you to Kathy Carver, who says, stay true, friend. Will do. Can't do nothing else. Thank you to A Apron for your thumbs up emoji. Thank you to Supreme Reader, who says Twitter is currently 97 degrees. Karen height, hilarious. Thank you to Auslander 808, who says even funnier. Pelosi's not wearing a mask while a Biden campaign ad is playing on the TV saying it's common sense to wear a mask everywhere in public and we're in it together. Can't make it up. Thank you to Hanzo, who says until I hear leftists condemning these riots and destruction of cities, I don't want to hear about Kyle Rittenhouse. There you go, 100%. If they were not out there destroying their communities, there would no need for a Kyle Rittenhouse. He could just go home and chill. Shout out to Lewis from Spain, who says, don't tell the joke to your wife. Why ABL waits a year to celebrate his wedding? Because as a responsible reporter, wants to have all information first. Hilarious. Thank you to Monica Bellinger for the fist bump emoji. Thank you to Betty Collins for the thumbs up emoji. Thank you to Praying for the Rapture, who says, ABL, how you get so awesome? Love you, man. Congrats on starting your new life with one of the luckiest women out there. Keep waking up those lost, confused people. Will do. Thank you for your very kind words and your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to, let me get back to where I was. Thank you to No One for the emoji donation. Thank you to Monica Bellinger, who says, ABL, I'm natural native Asian American girl sending love and support. Keep spreading truth and inspiring free thinking. Trump 2020. 100%. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Thank you to, let me see, did I get everybody? Thank you to Aaron M, who says, currently fighting for Second Amendment rights in California for lifting the mag ban. Everyone support the GOA, GOZ, etc. There you go. I know GOA, that's Gun Owners of America. I'm not sure what GOC is, but support everybody that supports Second Amendment. And thank you to ME, who says, sent you to my granddaughter to help her receive the correct information. She is 16 and is a very smart girl. Thank you. Thank you for sending her in my direction. Hopefully she learned something from me over here on the channel. And I thank y'all for joining. I'll be live again tomorrow on Brandon Tatum's channel. I missed you guys yesterday, not yesterday, last time if you were there. But I'll be back on the show tomorrow. And I'll be live again on this channel on Saturday. And of course, I'll be doing my regular content all throughout the week, pre-recorded videos. And again, this video will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform. That's Spotify, Google Play, Apple iTunes, wherever you are, I'll be there. And shout out to the mods for helping me out tonight, doing a great job. We got Charles Turner Jr., we got True Helper, we got Bill from the Hills, we got Ken Bone, Liza Jean, True Helper. You guys are great. Killer Sushi, of course, Rapper 10,000. You guys are the best. Zealous Kane Sword, of course. You guys are the best on the internet. So that's all I got. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.